It's the cold hard truth. Everyone really want to know what's going on with her show. Just get on the air and you will know it's Sandra. The queen of the mile road is here, helping people from everywhere. Get on the phone and you will hear Sandra. Now she will tell you how it goes, but don't you ever step on her toes, 'cause you will hear the cold hard truth from Sandra. They say she's the hero in town, helping people from all around. You get a call, your money is found, it's Sandra. Some will call her late at night just to say that there is a fight, and she will not just leave it alone. She'll get up and call on the phone, and when politics starts on her show, everyone really wants to know the way the things will really go with Sandra. And some will start to criticize, get on the show and tell pure lies, but someday we'll realize it's Sandra. And when they start to argue again, she'll pull the heads to the wind, and soon you will be a friend with Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wants to hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wants to hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra.
The Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture and Heritage is pleased to announce that the nominations for the 2026 National Recognition Awards are now open. Nominate individuals and groups who played a key role in developing the Cayman Islands' physical infrastructure. The categories include landmark leaders, infrastructure innovators, and the builders of Cayman. Visit gov.ky/YSCH. Click on the Nominate button to make a nomination. Here is a step-by-step guide to fill out the form. Before starting, please read the instructions, the award categories, and the eligibility criteria. Step 1. Enter your personal information and select the award category for the person or group you are nominating. Click Yes to confirm that your nominee meets the criteria. Step 2. Enter the nominee's full name, date of birth, and district. Indicate their current status, whether living or deceased, and ensure you have the current contact information for your nominee and their next of kin. Fill out the submission detail and provide any supporting documents and a reference to support your nomination. Step 3. Review your submission and make any changes by clicking the previous button. When you are ready, confirm and agree to the terms and click Submit Form to make your nomination. A thank you notice will confirm that the nomination was received, and a copy of the application will be sent to your email. Your nomination will be reviewed and considered by the National Recognition Awards Committee, and only successful nominees will be contacted and recognized at next year's National Heroes Day ceremony. The deadline to make a nomination is October 15. Remember, you can submit multiple nominations or browse our frequently asked questions by visiting the National Recognition Awards tab at gov.ky/YSCH. We look forward to receiving your nomination.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, beautiful people. We're going to update those because the deadline has been extended from the 15th to the 31st of October. So I was just reminded as I was listening to that I need to pull in the new new adverts with the new dates. So I will do that. I'm just having a quick look-see. I did get an email late yesterday. Dun, 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 dun. Where is that email? All right, so I will have a look for that and I will upload those details because I do know that they've adjusted the date in the videos as well. Everybody's doing good. Happy Wednesday. Yes, it is Hump Day Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Hope that you guys are doing fantastic. As I like to say, fantastical. So yesterday's show, a lot of people, even up to this morning, were asking me, they're like, well, what's the short version of, what was the takeaway, especially around Ozempic? And if you missed yesterday's show, go back and listen to it. It was quite good. That's Health City, Cayman Islands. And a lot of people are obviously going the Ozempic route. And, the doctor said, and I really like Dr. Ravi. I don't think I've ever personally been to him. Maybe that's a good thing. The heart's okay still. I haven't really been to him, I don't think, for any sort of consults or anything like that. But, his takeaway is that, if you need it and it's going to literally save your life, then maybe it's worth the risk. The risk, sometimes from a doctor's perspective, it becomes a question of, does the risk outweigh, or the benefits, my apologies, outweigh the risk? And so he was kind of thinking that maybe it does. I mean, he said, yes, there seems to be, but in my opinion, the early days yet for the number of people that are actually using it for the purposes of, weight loss in particular. And there are actually some people who take it and do not lose weight. Now, I can't explain that one to you, honey child. I don't know. But I got a cousin, she's actually diabetic. So she's taking it for diabetic reasons. And according to her, she has not lost 1 pound. She's like, I don't know what all these people are going on and on about because she hasn't lost any weight. And I'm like, Lord Jesus, poor you, honey child. What a mess. So, there's that, I guess, possibility that you may be one of the people who doesn't lose any weight. And then, gosh darn it, that really sucks if that's you. So I don't know. But for me, yes, numbers are going up. And I think that when you get to a particular age, yes, you don't have the benefits of youth anymore. Time is against you in a lot of different ways. So you gotta get it together. And I know that my time is, I've been talking about this for years, as y'all well know. But yeah, I got to get it together. So the crazy thing for me is I obviously know that I'm the type of person who has all the knowledge in my head. So it's not for lack of knowledge. It's just getting started, if you understand what I mean, right? And I know myself, and this is where, you have to come to conclusions about the things that you know about yourself as well. And I know myself, and I know, I also know that once I get started, I tend to do okay with continuity. But the getting started is the hardest part for me. Yeah, because I've been down this rodeo before, and there are times in my life that I've been very, very consistent. And you see, I am one of those people that I don't actually mind exercising. There's some people who don't like to exercise. They don't, they have no self-control. So I'm not necessarily that person. If my knee is like feeling better and that sort of thing. So, yeah. let's just say that I know what I got to do, and now I've just got to go about my business, and I'm making some slow progress. So you gotta. Rome wasn't built in a day. We didn't get fat and obese in a day, and so we gotta reverse it and go from there. So short summary is I really appreciated Dr. Ravi coming on. He answered a lot of questions I know that a lot of you had around cholesterol and diet and the things that you really need to be looking out for. And it's interesting because he says, he is all about what does the data show? And so for him, I thought it was interesting when he said, even around intermittent fasting, if the data doesn't show, what these sort of conclusions, if you will, then he's like, the data doesn't show it. So he's not going to tell you necessarily, yes, this works 100%. They might have anecdotal evidence, but there's no double-blind study that says X, Y, Z. So I get it. I totally get his clinical position, and I think that that's okay. Now, I was actually watching something yesterday about Ozempic, and I told you guys that I'm very, very interested in a lot of this because I have. I know people who are on Ozempic, and yes, they are facing $2 billion worth of lawsuits as parents are announcing, or patients, my apologies, are finding a lot of different things, stomach paralysis, vision loss. There's a ton of things. And so I am also not comfortable with all of those risks. I'm just like, Lord Jesus, vision loss? Honey, child, we can't do that. But again, if you're diabetic and you're looking at vision loss anyway, that might be the least of your worries. You know what I mean? So I get the cost benefit analysis. I do think that it really matters exactly where you are. Oh, let me turn on my other light. My apologies. So yeah, there's quite a bit of evidence that there is a lot of side effects. And then yesterday, I was watching the lady I told you about, the glucose goddess. I was watching one of her videos, and she was talking about the Ozempic thing. I'm going to try to find the video because I thought it was very, very interesting what she had to say about it and why she's concerned because her background is she is actually a scientist. So she's a doctor, but I think her degree is some fancy, science degree. So she looks at things a little bit differently than the average person. So let me just see here, because I do want to tell you. All right, so yes, I'm going to find this video for you guys because this is very, it's worth a listen to exactly what she has to say about this. All right, today's the 22nd already. Wow, good morning. Time is just flying by. All right, let me see if I can put my hands on it. I watch a lot of videos some days on Facebook. Oh yes, I think this is her. Okay. Oh yes, okay. All right, so I'm gonna play this and let me send out my links real quick. I forgot to send out the links, so give me one quick second. Dun, 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 dun. The reason why we have to do the links in real time, I was poor Sabrina. When I tell you that I have threw her in on the deep end, I know she's been overwhelmed a little bit by the technology, but she's been getting it. She's been getting it, honey child. So she, one of the reasons why we do the links, we have to kind of do them as the show starts instead of preparing. I can prepare it up to a certain point, but Facebook, that link is not available until we actually go live. So Facebook is a little bit different, always has been. But they have a link that is an events link before you go live, and then it changes to something else once you go live. So that's why you always see that once I go live, that's when I just grab my links. And so that requires a little bit of multitasking, you know. Ooh, there's a video here on the number one mistake people on Ozempic and Mounjaro make. I'm going to see what that number one mistake is. Hold on. Let me get the transcripts for this, and I'll tell you guys what this doctor says. So I'm kind of watching this space. I think it's a very interesting discussion. And, you know, there are some physicians who are 100% on board with it. And they're like, nope, you know, this is good because it's, you know, doing this for you and doing that for you. And, you know, but I think the caution really makes me pause. So I'm actually a very cautionary person with certain things in life. And so I'm not going to be the first person to go out there and be like, oh, you know, let me be your guinea pig. I'm like, y'all can go be your own guinea pigs, and I'll just watch and wait and see what happens. And then we can talk about it years later when you've got whatever as a side effect. And I'll be like, oops. Well then. So let me just see. I'm just going to send out this link to everyone. Okay, so you should have the links now in the channel for the show. We're going to be talking about immigration reform for a large part of today's program. So we're going to get to that just here in a second. And in fact, I have gotten assurances this morning that the relevant government officials, Mr. Wesley Howell and others, will be coming on the program on Friday to have this discussion as well. So we'll do a bit more of that. And the Minister, Premier Andre Ebanks and Minister Anglin are back on Friday as well. So we'll have a full government show on Friday. So they're coming back to do part 2 of their SPS discussion. Okay, so, but I kind of just wanted, my mind was on this after someone asked me this morning, well, you know, I know you were talking about this a little bit. So what was the final analysis as it relates to the Ozempic, Mounjaro, and there's another one. There's like 3 drugs that they, like, the names fall under. So I just wanted to share this video with you. And like I said, it's a cautionary tale. I've got a friend who's on it, Lady Di. I understand she's lost over 20 pounds, like in 2 months. That's a lot of weight loss. I am a little bit concerned about the rapid weight loss too, right? Because all of the evidence shows that rapid weight loss isn't really the best thing in the world for you in terms of sustainability. Like anything that makes you lose it that quickly, you're unlikely to be able to sustain it. And sustaining it is important, you know, because the research has also demonstrated that the worst thing you can do for your body is yo-yo diet. Lose a lot, gain it back. Lose a lot, gain it back. Like that is not very, very good for you at all. So, yeah, so there's that as well. And, you know, I know, like I said, people are losing it, but then once they come off of it, because there's some people who's like, oh, you can cycle on and off of it. And I'm like, wait a minute, you're going to be taking Ozempic for the rest of your life? That can't be good. Under no circumstances can cycling on and off of that be good for you. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandy. But what I was saying, yeah, that was Ozempic. But what people need to realize that now certain things not good for everybody, because I know somebody that they put it on and they never lose half ounce, and they're diabetic, they're bad diabetic, and they put them on it and they never lose a half ounce. But I understand that that's what Kelly Clarkson and Oprah went on, and you see how fast Kelly Clarkson went down. She looked like a little girl now. So I mean, she lose that, like, and remember she was kind of talking, and I understand that that's what they take, because when I saw her one time on one show, and I say to somebody that lives in the state, I said, geez, boy, Kelly lose brand of weight. I said, what she? And then they say she went on this Ozempic thing or whatever. Like they say, I guess certain things for certain people will probably make me lose weight, might make you lose weight, because everybody body is different. So they say different stroke for different folks.
Yeah.
So I guess that go. But then, yeah, I mean, like you just say that if they make you lose weight that fast, I kind of concerned about that too because losing it too fast not too good. But anyway, I guess they say different stroke. But this person that doctor put on it, hey, I will even lose half a pound, not a pound.
And I think what happens too is when you are already a diabetic, you know, which is what this drug is for, there are certain things that that your body obviously is going to, I think, interact with drugs differently already. So maybe that's why, because the person I'm talking about as well, who's diabetic, that it didn't work for her. She hasn't lost any pounds. She's already a diabetic. So it might be helping them with what it's meant for, which is controlling the diabetes, but it doesn't impact the weight loss from what she has said.
This person got heart issues and they needed to do a procedure on him, but then they said because of the bad diabetes and then the overweight, whatever, they couldn't do it and they put him on this to try to see if he could lose weight, but not an ounce, nothing. Not doing nothing with.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you so much, darling.
Okay, bye. What do you think about this weather? I'm about to call me frightened. Morning boat.
We'll get to that in just a second. Don't be frightened, just be prepared.
A little frightened to that. I'm not so afraid. I put my trust in God and whatever he do, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm frightened, but if you listen to this person, you'll get out of it.
Oh, Lord. No. Don't stress yourself.
Think the negative. You got to think the positive. Think for the best, and I hope it goes nowhere because nobody needs this. It go out to sea and break up. Don't hit no countries because I feel sorry for everybody going through hardship. So I got faith. It's
okay.
Whatever.
Thank you, my dear.
Okay, bye.
All right, dear. So yes. What was I saying? Oh gosh. Okay. Oh, Dr. Sarah's on today. Oh Lord, I forgot about Dr. Sarah. Oh, this is interesting. Okay. So, interesting. All right. Doing some investigative work there for you guys. So yes, let me have you watch this video with Dr. Sarah on. We might have to push our immigration discussion, which I've done a lot of research on, back just a little bit, but we always give our guests priority, obviously. So hold on one second.
Well, listen, first of all, I think it gives people a sense of control, and that can make you feel good. But the problem is with Ozempic, for example, now we're starting to see studies about what happens when you stop. And so with Ozempic, you lose a lot of weight, but you also lose a lot of muscle. And then when you stop taking Ozempic, you're going to start eating like you normally would again, and then you gain all the weight back, but you just gain fat back. You don't gain the muscle back. So you end up in a worse situation, right? And the way Ozempic and the other GLP-1 agonists work is that there's a hormone in your body called GLP-1, and it's one of the hormones that tells you, Lewis, you've eaten enough. You know when you have a big family dinner and your aunt is like, Lewis, one more slice of pie, and you're like, Aunt Mary, I really can't. I'm just like, you know when your stomach is really full? Yes. One of the reasons you feel that way is because of GLP-1. And Ozempic tricks your brain into thinking there is more GLP-1 than there actually is in your body. So your brain is like, oh, I feel super full. I cannot eat. Exactly. Some people even forget to drink, right? It's crazy. And this is not great because there are natural ways of increasing GLP-1, but these drugs trick your body into thinking there's more than there actually is. So we don't know yet what all the after effects are going to be, but I think it says something really disheartening about the state of our dietary habits, is that we're so lost about what to eat, and the food around us is so bad for us that we need a drug to help us not eat the food.
Oh my gosh.
And for big food and big pharma, I mean, match made in heaven, right? It's making a lot of money to a lot of people.
Wow.
But whether or not you take one of these drugs, it's important to understand physiologically how your body works, because otherwise you're just going to be just as lost in 6 months when you stop.
Right. So what is it? GLP? Is that what you said?
GLP-1.
GLP-1.
Yeah.
So what are the natural ways to, I guess, create more GLP-1 without a drug?
Eating fiber. Or, and this is one of the reasons I created Anti-Spike, my new capsules, is that there are plants that help your microbiome produce more GLP-1 naturally. So for example, after 6 to 12 weeks of taking Anti-Spike, you see a natural increase of 15% in GLP-1. It is an actual increase. It is not tricking your brain into thinking there's more GLP-1. It's actually helping your body create more of this satiety hormone. And using a lot of my hacks is also going to naturally increase GLP-1.
Vinegar too, or no?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. No, it's more about specific nutrients that you eat, so protein and fiber and fats, etc. But it's just a normal hormone, that you have in your body all the time. It's not this crazy new thing. It's just acting on something that's already there.
Yeah. So like what you were saying before, like vinegar is one of the best things you can do to have in water before a meal. That will help you decrease the spike of glucose of the meal, no matter what you're eating.
Well, you have to be eating carbs, because if you're eating just broccoli, that's not going to help, because broccoli doesn't really make a spike.
Got it. But if you're having sugar, carbs,
Yeah.
then it'll help you decrease when you have vinegar.
Exactly.
So there you go. Some food for thought, and some really interesting things to certainly think about when it comes to these GLP-1 drugs. So interesting. But we're going to move on to other things this morning. We're going to circle back to these things. Anytime I hear a little nugget that I think is interesting for those of you who are considering the drug or on the drug, or, but what I would say is these drugs are not meant for what some people are using it for. So yes, Kelly Clarkson, I think, had quite a bit of weight to lose. Oprah, poor thing, we know she struggled her entire life with weight loss, to the point where I have to worry about her genetic composition. But, I think that you have to realize that these are not meant for the Kardashians of the world and the celebrities of the world to try to lose a little 5 pounds before, getting on the red carpet. And that's kind of what has happened here. So there's someone at DMS who they were a big fan of it. I think it was last year that this person did it, and he lost over 30 pounds. And he's like, oh my God, Sandy, I'm losing all this weight. Da, da, da. And the other day I checked in with him and I said, by the way, you were doing Ozempic. How did that work out for you? I haven't heard you mention it in a while. Did you put the weight back on? Yes, but I'm like, really? Yes, but I'm going to go on it again. Nope. You something to be said for being able to make the small and necessary modifications that you have got to make for yourself. So facing over 1,800 lawsuits in U.S. courts with damages possibly topping $2 billion, patients allege that the drug caused stomach paralysis, vision loss, and other severe complications not clearly warned about. So now we're talking about a class of drugs. Obviously, Ozempic is used for diabetes and weight loss, and it's facing one of the largest pharmaceutical battles in recent years, with over 1,800 lawsuits now filed both in U.S. courts, and growing more rapidly. Analysis estimate that the total liability from the manufacturer, which is Novo Nordisk, could cross $2 billion, making it one of the costliest drug safety disputes in history. And so the GLP-1 receptors, which, as you see, your body actually can make naturally, so you just need to know how to activate your body to make that. And it's through eating healthy. That's basically what the glucose goddess just said, right? So Ozempic is sold under the other brands, Wegovy and Rybelsus, as well. And it's a group of medications called GLP-1 receptor agonist. And these drugs were originally approved to treat type 2 diabetes, but soon became popular for weight loss because they suppress appetite, help regulate blood sugar, and eventually help in losing weight. There are some hidden dangers, however. So while many people have lost weight with the drug, more and more patients say it has left them with serious side effects. And the court filings list a range of serious problems linked to Ozempic, include severe gastrointestinal issues such as pariasis, which is stomach paralysis, intestinal blockages, and persistent vomiting. Patients have also reported gallbladder complications like inflammation and gallstones. Some cases involve sudden vision loss linked to a condition called, oh Lord, this is too long, non-arteritic anterior ischemic optic neuropathy, whatever. It's NAION is the acronym. Lord have mercy. Apart from these, pancreatitis and kidney damage have also been reported. And they're saying that the drug manufacturer did not give enough warning about these risks, even as more cases of complications are being reported. So, they have basically said that these drugs are safe. And so now, as patients are getting more and more of these complications, there are questions really around the safety of the drugs. And in fact, there is one, I sent this to one of my doctors the other day about a potential cancer link as well. And so that is something interesting to watch out for. Yeah. So keep learning. And I'm here to bring you the news. So there's something that I want us to do, modifications in behavior and dietary modifications are really, really important. And so as we are all, I feel like, on this struggle together, there is something that I have been watching very, very carefully. So of course, they're like exercise. Now, when they say exercise, of course, walking is important, especially because of our sedentary lifestyle. We want to get out. We want to walk more. That's really, really important. But you know what is even better for you than just going for a walk? Is squats. Now, hear me closely. The reason that squats are so important is because the evidence has demonstrated that the one muscle, in fact, we have some giveaways this morning. Let me see how many I have left. We have some tickets for, where's my other ticket book? Give me a second. Let me find my other ticket book so I don't give away too many tickets. But we have the Cayman Islands Folk Singers concert happening on Friday. And where's the other book of tickets? Friday and Saturday. Hold on. Oh, here it is. So I've got some tickets that I'm going to give away. And yes, I've got a few tickets left. I'll get more tickets if we have to. I'm sure they can spare another book for me. So yeah, we have some tickets that we are going to give away. And so I'm going to ask you a trivia question this morning to do our first giveaway. Now we have some kids tickets as well. Funny enough, we have more kids tickets than we have adult tickets, which I know a lot of you are not going to let kids go by themselves. It is 5 to 17 years old. Maybe you'd let a 16-year-old go by themselves. I'm not really too sure, but there is a muscle. Let's talk about this, right? There is a muscle in your legs that is so critical and so important to your longevity. And so the research has shown that this singular muscle, and I want y'all to tell me what the muscle is. That's going to be your trivia question, right? This singular muscle has been linked to longevity. So in a recent study of older adults, those with this particular strength have a 51 to 65% higher risk of earlier death. So in other words, this is the one muscle that if all the muscles you have, literally, you want to work this one muscle. And so this is extremely important. And this is a message that all of our physicians should now be telling patients. You know, you're going to the gym. Everybody's trying to bulk up on their upper body. You know, men love to have big arms. I don't know what they walk around big arms for. But, you know, men love to do pull-ups and big arms and this and that. And this particular muscle, however, is actually tied to longevity. And so longevity is what it's all about, right? You want to live longer and you want to be healthier. And so this is why now the strength of this particular muscle is so incredibly important. My question to you is this. What is that muscle? What muscle are we talking about? I kind of gave you some hints around this already. So I just want to see if you guys are paying attention. 936-2626. Call in and win yourself a ticket to the Cayman Islands Folk Singers. Oh, give me 1 second here. I need to open up this other, I want to open up this other, hold on. Give me one momento. Yeah, I do have to open up this other app to take WhatsApp calls. But call if you call them the right number. So what is that one muscle? You got to call. Some of y'all messaging me the answer. You can message me, but you'll need to call the show number. Somebody calling from no caller ID. Y'all know how to be answering no caller ID numbers, honey chill. I don't know who you'll be. You could be one of them scammers from India. Okay, 936. Oh, nobody not calling me? What's going on? Oh, wait, it said somebody did call, but I didn't hear it ring. What? Hold on. No, that person's messaging. My phone credit shut off. You can call here. You don't need phone credit for WhatsApp calling, do you? I'm just saying. I don't think you do. All right, so give us a call. If you're WhatsApp messaging me, that means you can call on WhatsApp. 936-2626. Y'all know the answer. Cinnamon, 936-2626. Hello, Miss Darlene. There we go. There we go. Good morning.
Morning.
Hi.
Achilles tendon.
No, it is not.
Okay.
Ooh, no. All right, let's take another call. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm blessed today. I'm blessed every day.
I know, right? Amen to that. What muscle is it?
Is that the quadricep?
Yes, it is. Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner. You're going to be excited about going to this folk singers concert because they're actually really, really good. I love listening to them.
Thank you.
All right, let me just put down your number here. And then I'm going to drop off these tickets, everybody, at the station later on today. So you can go by the Stingray Media Station right there on Sound Road and grab your tickets. So congratulations. That's right. The quadriceps. They are you're most welcome. They are a big muscle in the leg. And really, it comes down to, when you think about it, logically, it actually makes total sense, right? Because what do you do when you're old? You got to be able to get up. You know, you sit down, you got to be able to get up, whether you're, you know, some mobility issues, but you still have got to be able to move. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
We found a winner. But
okay, I texted earlier. I texted earlier in the comments.
Yes, you gotta call.
Because I didn't have any credits. So
Well, we do it by calls, honey chow.
Okay.
Next time, we got more coming. Don't worry. Tis the season for lots of giveaways. So. But yes, those quad muscles are important for you to be able to lift yourself. And so one of the best ways that you can work those quad muscles, as you well know, is squatting. And in fact, even better than walking, because doing squats is going to work that muscle, you know, and you naturally do squats when you're in the garden and you're up and down. And for those of us who are sort of living this sedentary lifestyle, it is definitely more difficult. You know, we're not out in the garden as much as we should be, or if at all. I'm just adjusting the camera here, little toops. There we go. So yeah, so the quad muscles are very, very important. Your calf muscles are also important. So remember yesterday I was telling you that with the calf muscles, even doing calf raises and stuff is important. But the most important one is the quad muscles. Everybody knows where the quad muscles are? They're the ones in the front of the leg, right there, yes, so. And in fact, there's been some research recently talking about how women, in particular with thicker quad muscles than anything else. So in other words, you know, when you look at a woman, you're like, oh, she got a bonk in her, or, you know, she's thick in the hips and whatever. None of that matters like her quads. If she's thick in the quads, she is going to live longer than everybody else. So you don't want to be thick in the waist because that's visceral fat around those important organs. And by the way, not everyone, visceral fat you can't really see, although when it starts to become external fat, you know that that person also has visceral fat. But there are skinny people, just FYI, who look skinny on the outside but have visceral fat. And so just because you appear to be skinny does not mean that you're healthy either. And by the way, another study says being underweight is worse than being overweight. What a hot mess, child. You got to keep up with all these studies, honey, child. But anywho, yes, those quad muscles are really, really important. That's right, girl. Thick quad muscles. All the thick quad girls now are like, you see, those thick legs matter. But that's if you're thick in the legs and then nowhere else, though. So we don't want you thick all over because then you can't really make that argument. Yes, Shaka Zulu, you're right on the money. So listen, so here's what we're going to start doing. Remember when we had started our little exercises and you guys were like, oh, you know, Sandy, I can't keep up with you and this bicycle. The only reason I stopped is because of oh, we got a call. Hello, good morning. Hello? Uh-oh, hold on. Let me see. I can't hear you. Hold on one second.
Hello?
Hi, morning.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Hello?
Hi, can you hear me? Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, Miss Sandra.
Hi, dear.
How are you?
Not bad. How are you?
Okay, I'm calling all the way from Boston.
From
I
where,
want
sorry?
you to do me a favor. Boston.
Oh, from Boston. Oh, wow. It must be kind of chilly
Yeah.
there now.
It is, and it's also raining.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so guess what? I want you to do me a favor.
Yes.
Today is my dad's birthday. He's a
Oh,
very, he always listen to your program. And
okay.
sometimes when I call him, oh, I'm listening to Sandra. So I wanted to do me a favor today. Just send him out a birthday greetings from his name is Vincent Walters.
Mr. Vincent Walters.
Yes.
Okay.
He's
And do you have a picture
good
of
type
your
of-
dad? We can post them up on social media. Wish him a little birthday there too.
Okay, let me do that for you. I'm gonna
Okay.
send it to you. Okay, I'm gonna search
Yeah,
it
you can send it
and
right on
send it
WhatsApp.
to you.
Thank you
Okay,
so much.
okay. He's an ex-police officer, used to serve.
Okay. Oh, wonderful. And how old is dad today?
Oh, today my dad is 70.
All right. Wonderful.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
So, Mr. Vincent, wishing you a very, very happy birthday today from your daughter all the way there in Boston. I'm sure the rest of the family.
Daughter Judine and granddaughter Ramoy and Romali grandson Rahim.
Okay. All right. Appreciate it.
Okay,
Thank you,
I'll
my
send
dear.
you. Okay, thanks.
All right. So yeah, happy birthday, Mr. Vincent. She'll send a little picture and we'll put that up. If you know Mr. Vincent, give him a call for his birthday. Tell him you heard it first on CMR. Happy birthday, Daddy. Oh, she's thinking her dad all the way in Boston. All right. So yes, those quads are really, really important. So remember when we used to do the exercises here in the show, we had started that. And then what happened was the reason why I stopped is because when you guys would call in, I couldn't hear the calls. So I kind of needed like a wireless mic set up or whatever. And so I have since found a solution. And I actually have a treadmill, one of the walk-in treadmills coming, the like slim ones. that I can put in here and I can walk part of the show. So I'm getting back on it. Because listen, we're sitting here at least 2-3 hours a day. For years, when I first started the show, I used to stand actually the entire show. And then, sometimes that would impact my feet. But anyway, we are now, for every hour that we're sitting down, we're going to get up and do some squats. You guys with me? Now, if you're in the car, obviously you can't do squats and drive. So what I want for you to do, especially if you're sitting in like the traffic, you ain't got nowhere to go. It's not moving particularly fast. You can do leg lifts. So maybe between the car moving, you might only be able to do 5 and then you put it in drive. So I want you to park the car, please. Don't just take your foot off the accelerator and try and do this and run in the back of somebody. Be safe. Put it in park. Do 5 just leg lifts. Yes. And then those of you who are already at work, like maybe some of you go to work early, some of you are listening at home, we're going to get up and do squats. All right. So at 8:30, don't tell Dr. Sarah. She's going to wonder what the hell are we doing? We'll surprise her. At 8:30, we're all going to get up. I can only probably do 25, but I've done 25 already. So to help with my knee, since I've come back from vacation, every morning I'm doing 25 squats in the shower because I can hold on to the bar for a little bit of support because, my knee's still getting there. So we're going to get up at about 8:30 and do, if you can do 25, do 25. If you can go all the way to 50, I want you to do 50. And then we're going to do the same thing at 9:30. So every hour that you're sitting, we're going to get up and do some squats. Okay. Everybody with me? Good plan? All right. So good morning to everyone. Good morning, Miss Chevelle. How are you? Sheldon is here. Miss Darlene. 370 plus. How many we got on Instagram? Instagram doesn't ever have as many people. You got to be into some hardcore sus for the Instagram numbers to go up. And I do mean it. Instagram people are like, you better be cursing somebody out for us to come on Instagram. Thank you. Sheldon says, Sandy, if you visit gyms to do a podcast or something, you'll find out that leg day is a less important attentive for a lot of people. Really? Sheldon, it shouldn't be. It should be the most attentive. Oh my gosh. I'm surprised at that. Leg day, y'all better get in there and work those legs. By the way, CMR TV, one of the most exciting things that we have coming for you is Carla she was on the show already. She is going to be doing her Fit and Fierce by Carla. Now, let me tell you something. She was telling me the other day that one of her clients lost, oh my gosh, I forgot how much weight. But Carla is not just about the weight loss journey. She's about the fitness aspect of it. She wants you guys to get fit and healthy. So you'll see with Carla, she's got you in the gym doing weights at the exact same time, which is important, and a lot of people lose weight and they get all this saggy skin and whatever. And they're like, oh, I got saggy skin. Well, you need to do weights. That will help with the sagginess. Anybody who's had like a gastric procedure or anything like that, quick and rapid weight loss is going to mean loose skin. So the way that you tighten that up is you got to be doing weights. You got to be lifting weights. And the strengthening and weightlifting is important, not just for the aesthetics of it all. So it's not just about the loose skin, but it's also about things like your grip, because your grip is also another indicator of longevity. The better your grip is, your hand grip, the more likely you're going to live much longer in a better life. Okay. So that's interesting, Sheldon. Their legs are not, and it's so funny because a lot of guys, even when we were on our trip the other day, one of the young ladies like, oh my God, I love your calf muscles. You have such amazing legs. And I said, girl, they used to be so much better back in the day. But we're going to get back there. And so, yes, all of those things, extremely important to your longevity. But yeah, sometimes it's genetics. For me, those calf muscles are just straight up genetic. Like, they have always been there. Obviously, I help myself when I am in the gym and I'm doing a little bit more. But weights are important. Weight training, especially for women, as you hit this kind of middle age and so forth. But yeah, Carla has been doing amazing things. And when we launch, I'm happy to say that I'm just going to play a quick video for you guys here, but her series, I think a lot of you are going to really, really enjoy, because she's got people in the gym, they're lifting weights, they're doing tons of really amazing workouts. And then you get to see the transformation. So here's a trailer that we're going to post up today for Carla. Let me just play this. Doc, I see you, not to worry. And this is, again, some of what Carla Yi Singh has in store for us in terms of, let me see here, in terms of the workout, right? Mm-hmm. I thought I just downloaded this, but hold on. It's called, this little trailer segment. Yeah, let me just find it. It's here. I'm just trying to find it. It's called The Courage to Shine. Let me just see where this computer saved it. And then we're going to have a look. All right, we also have, we're going to be posting something else here on social media this morning, where we have to call out, unfortunately, a PWD driver who day before yesterday was driving like a bat out of hell in the rain by the licensing department. Now, you know that whole area at the moment is actually under construction. So I am really shocked and surprised that this person was driving in such a dangerous manner. I don't know what is wrong with you all. It's why we have so many accidents in our roadways. You know, the NRA is working overtime to try to ensure that people are driving safer, because unfortunately people are losing their lives on Cayman roads. And listen, we'll ask Dr. Sarah here in a second. I don't think she's been to Cayman, but the roads are not that complicated. It's like basically 2 roads. You know, you should not have such a hard time navigating the roadways. And the fact that you guys do, I think, says a lot about the type of drivers that we have. And quite frankly, let me just state it bluntly, you guys are horrible drivers. And so you are doing the most on the roadways that you should not be doing. You're not paying attention. You're inconsiderate drivers. And, oh, I can't download this video. And you're just taking chances that really make 0 sense. So I need to get a hold of this video. All right, I'll ask Carla to send it to me, because for some reason, I'm not able to download it. I changed the format, but it still didn't. All right, let me speak with her about this. It's saving it as a TS file, which it should be like an MP4 probably. Okay, I'll try it again. It's a really good video, so I'll share that with you guys later on. All right, so our Jackass of the Day, nominated and certified, is the public works driver. So I'm going to show you guys exactly what I'm assuming it's a man, but it could have been a woman. Although I must tell you, by and large, women are better drivers than men in the sense that they don't take as many chances. But check out this dude. This was day before yesterday. It was raining. So poor conditions means that you need to take extra caution. So when the weather deteriorates and you've also got road works in this area, because you know they're adding a lane there, the road is all torn up. But look at him being a bat out of hell. So here we are coming into the Grand Harbor roundabout, driving. There's the vehicle right there. Bam. I want you guys to see it. That's it. Because I know somebody is going to need to take that PW number down. PW445 looks like is the number. Or PW, yeah, 445. Okay, so now we're in the roundabout. Navigate through the roundabout. There we go. Okay, going around the roundabout. Yep, there's Scotia Bank. Coming through. Now, you know, the road construction is up ahead. Everybody knows that. So he quickly changes lanes where you had to put on your brakes. Then look at how he speeds up. And you can determine his speed based on the speed of the vehicle that he just overtook. So the speed of the vehicle in that area is doing 24 miles per hour. He kind of cuts in, takes off like a bat out of hell, speeds off, and then look what he does, changes lanes again. He was in a hurry. Public Works, do tell. What were you in a hurry to do exactly? You were going to go fix a toilet at, the port in town? Like, seriously, they're not an emergency services kind of, like, where was he going? Only God knows. So then he takes off, and you can see the driver was kind of trying to catch him a little bit, but he was driving so fast in a construction zone, wet roads. Then they decided just to back off because he took off. So I don't know what emergency Public Works had on that particular day, but there you have it. Yep. Driving like Speedy Gonzalez. There he goes. In a construction zone and raining, and then he takes off on the bypass. All right, so we'll post them up on social media later on. I'm trying to get the Carla video, honey child. For some reason, I'm not having any luck with the file type, so I'll ask her to maybe try to send it directly to me. Oh, hold on. Nope, it's not letting me do it. It says it's having troubles with this video. I might just pull it up in the background and resave it. Sometimes I have to do a little video work. All right, let me see if I can do that. But anyway, in the meantime, we've got a guest in the studio. And we don't want to be rude because that's not who we are. We are, in fact, people who really use our manners. And so we have none other than Dr. Sarah in the studio with us this morning. Sarah Nicholas. Let me try and get the last name right. I kept calling her Nichols last week. I don't know why. Dr. Sarah, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Sandy. How are you?
I'm good. I love your curls. Can I just tell you?
You.
They are so beautiful. Do you have to do them a lot to keep them so gorgeous?
I do them like once a week, and then you just gotta refresh and have a bonnet on every night.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, they're beautiful.
Thanks.
Love it. My daughter has curly hair, but not as tight a curl as yours. And it's like curly girl madness, trying to find the right products and everything to keep the curls looking fresh and beautiful.
Listen, throughout all of grad school, it was a journey, okay? The blogs, the videos, all of it.
Yeah. I feel you. Well, good morning. Top of the morning to you. Kim says, have a blessed day. Thank you, Miss Kim. It's so good to have you here. We have 383 people on the live stream watching this morning. And if you missed last week Wednesday's show, you missed our introduction with Dr. Carla. I'm going to be confused with Dr. Carlos for a hot minute. With Dr. Sarah, she has taken over Dr. Carlos's show and the show here, as well as his practice. And so she's amazing. Absolutely love her. Lots of Caribbean connections. But have you actually ever been to Cayman?
I have not. I can't wait to come visit. I know you're going to have me.
Of course, girl. I'm already working that out in my head.
Right.
Yes. All right. Well, we need to have you here for sure. So, someone's asking about CMR TV, if we could get someone to do mat Pilates. We need more than one fitness class. I mean, Carla focuses on weights and stuff, but yeah, anybody else who wants to join, reach out. We need Tai Chi, we need Pilates, we need it all. Yoga, puppy yoga, whatever you guys want to do, we're here for it. I think a puppy's yoga class would be so fun. And we do have in the works, I'm going to give you a little snippet here. We actually do have a dog show that's coming as well. So one of the animal rescue agencies is going to get on board with that. So lots of exciting things that I haven't yet announced because they're still in the earliest stages, but that's going to be part of CMR TV folding out. But, Dr. Sarah is amazing. You guys saw her last week when she was on the program. And so we're doing sort of, introducing her on my show, and then she's going to have a pull-out show of her own in the lineup. So you guys will get used to being able to see her doing her own show. But she's here for any questions that you have around mental health and wellness. And, every week in the Cayman Islands, Doc, I will send you kind of like things that are happening in the news that perhaps could be talking points for you that you might find to be, sort of interesting, if you will.
Sure.
And so my mind always turns to, okay, what was popping off this week that was really, really crazy? Something happened on Friday, and I do want you to talk about this. So we had a young lady who was involved in some sort of a domestic incident where literally, I'm going to show you the video here. She was dragged by her ex-boyfriend. I understand that they're no longer together, but they have some kind of toxic relationship. But she was actually dragged by him in a roadway. And girl, I'm going to have to show it to you because it's just crazy. But this is what it is. So this is her. She's actually behind the door. I'm going to make it. Well, I'll show you some other angles as well. But she's behind the door of that car, and he starts to reverse and drag her with the car. She ended up breaking her foot.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't this horrible? So we got to talk about domestic. Wow. Yeah. I'm going to show you another video because that's one angle. So, excuse me. It happened at an office location here in the Cayman Islands called Cayman Bay. Apparently, the young lady works for Deloitte, one of the local firms. And, you know, it was shocking to see this. And I think even more shocking was the fact that, you know, there were people who were standing there. Some tried to assist. And then I think they kind of got if you get involved, he's probably gonna beat you up too. But here's another angle of exactly what happens. So apparently she goes to get her shoe that was close by the car, because I think at this point he was already starting to assault her. And then look at this. He literally drags her with the car. It was crazy. Oh. So this happened on Friday, and there's yet another video, which I think this preceded the dragging of the car. But we see here where he was actually assaulting her in the bushes, and there were people. Yeah, there are people standing around watching this, and of course, you know, we see one of them at one point tries to get him to stop. It took him a little minute, though. I mean, this guy tries to pull him off of her, and then he kind of approaches them, and I suspect he was probably threatening them because they kind of backed up and they're like, look, you know, we don't want it. And then he goes right back at her again. He tries to go after her again. There we go. He starts to assault her again. How do we get to this point in our society where men can assault and feel happy to, and you know, women too, but mostly men, we'll be honest here, tries to assault a woman in broad daylight like this with no consideration for, you know, she's a mother of his child. I think they have like a 2-year-old child together. And at one point they were in some kind of relationship. And this is the end, where he actually ends up dragging her with the car door as he backs up. So now he has a slew of charges. He was in court. And they've the police in the DPP's office have him charged with a bunch of stuff now. But how do we get here? And what advice do you have to women? So his name is Michael Lopez Watler, only 26 years old. And he now has been formally charged with reckless and negligent act, common assault, driving without being qualified. Dude should not have even been driving without insurance, using a vehicle without a certificate of roadworthiness, and using a vehicle with expired registration. So he appeared in court on Monday. But wow, what advice do you have for young women in particular who find themselves in volatile relationships? Because clearly this is probably volatile from day one.
I mean, domestic violence is no joke, as you can clearly see in that video. Mm-hmm. And it's a very serious thing. It's a very dangerous thing. And it's not something that I would, that anyone should take lightly. Mm-hmm. I think that the common misconception that people have is, oh, why don't you just leave, right? Clearly this person is being harmful to you. You should just leave the situation, right? Like, I'm sure people are asking, like, why was she putting up with that? You know, that's a common thing that people ask. But I think what folks don't necessarily recognize about domestic violence is that it often ends up being, it's this slow creep that comes in. It's not that one day they were good and one day the person was harmful, right? It becomes this slow creep, a breakdown of a person's self-worth, a breakdown of a person's self-esteem slowly over time. And it's one of those things where one day you turn around and you're like, how did I get here? That tends to be more of the situation, right?
Yeah.
And it also comes from long-term childhood ways of thought processes on what we can handle, what we can take on, what is normal on
Yeah.
both ends, from both the perpetrator and the victim.
Yeah.
Advice that I would have for someone in a domestic violence situation is to not act rashly. I think that people don't recognize when someone is leaving a domestic violence situation. I don't remember the exact number, but I want to say it will take them multiple attempts to actually leave that person. It rarely ever just takes a one-time attempt to leave that person because of how intertwined mentally, financially that person can be with their abuser. And the highest likelihood that a person will die from domestic violence is when they're leaving.
Yeah.
And so it's not one of those things where it's a dangerous thing to leave a marriage like that, or a relationship. Like that in general. And so whenever I encounter someone in practice who's struggling with domestic violence, I often advise them to have a go bag. Right? Have something where they have some money, they have some clothes, they have their passport. If they have a passport, they have all of the kind of necessities that they might need hidden. That way, if they find themselves in a situation that they need to go kind of immediately, and if they have children, have those bags also for their children, either in the home or at someone they trust's house, so that they can kind of pick up and go very quickly.
Yeah. You got to have a good plan. And I mean, it's just so shocking. Someone says here that on average, they work around this issue. They said on average, it takes the average woman like 7 times of trying to leave before she can actually get out of a domestic relationship. So absolutely shocking.
It is absolutely shocking. And, something you asked Sandy was like, how did we get here? Right. Yeah. But the truth of the matter is, throughout history and time, women have been, abused by men for, as long as human history has existed, probably.
Yeah.
Right?
Cavemen were probably doing it,
Right. There's a power imbalance there, right?
Yeah.
To a large extent. And perpetration and abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, it's about power and control. A lot of many times that person feeling out of control themselves and utilizing that person that's less powerful than them, dominating them to kind of feel a sense of control in their own lives. Right. And that tends to be the dynamic.
And where does that stem from? I mean, I know that the instance of men being perpetrators who have grown up in a home where they themselves were victims, or they saw women, their mothers or sisters, being victimized, the chances of them being a perpetrator in life is increased significantly. So that's obviously one huge red flag if someone was exposed to that as a child. Even if they, you hear them say, oh, I don't want to be like my dad. They end up repeating the same patterns of behavior. So, yeah.
I mean, we often do things that are familiar to us, right? We do things that are familiar to us. And when anger and rage takes over, the rational part of our brain isn't really working anymore. So the part of our brain that says, I don't want to be like my father, that part of the brain is locked off, gone, right? We're in fight or flight. And that person is working off of very animalistic type tendencies. The smaller part of the brain, not the prefrontal cortex, the kind of more the more what we call the lizard brain. And that part of the brain is not thinking rationally. in that moment. And oftentimes when that person comes down from that rage, they are very remorseful. You know, all of that apologizing that can come after the fact may be very genuine because they're no longer in that front part of the brain. Again, not making it okay, not excusing it. But this is why it's so difficult, because the person is genuinely remorseful, but that doesn't mean that they won't do it again, because again, that's the general tendency. When that part of the brain shuts off, that's where they tend to go, right? And that's a very hard thing to change unless they're doing it very intentionally. That takes a lot of therapy, a lot of intention to change over time.
Wow. Yeah. Intentional. That's so critical. I feel like we need to have a bell ringing. Now, my audience members, they're supposed to be reminding me, Dr. Sarah, we were not going to tell you that we're doing something a little bit different this morning as part of our health and wellness journey. So, you know, we're all about health and wellness. Mental health, obviously, is the focus today. But most of us need a bit of boost in the physical health department as well. We're sedentary, you know, we're doing the most, eating all the wrong foods that are not good for us. So we had Dr. Ravi on yesterday talking about high cholesterol and, you know, the associated cardiovascular risk, diabetic risk, stroke, everything. And so this morning, I decided that I was going to challenge my audience to do something a little bit different. So you're going to have to bear with us. We're going to interrupt your segment for just a couple seconds as we get up. So remember now, the challenge is, and Dr. Sarah, I want you to join us. So I'm going to have here's my gong. I'll get a better sound. We are going to get up out of our seats and we are going to do squats for every hour. On the hour, we're a little bit late here now, but for every hour that we're sitting, we're going to get up and do a couple squats. So one of the things with squats is people often get them wrong. So people do squats incorrectly. And so I want to show a little video here now on how to squat correctly. And then we are going to all get up. One person said the goal is 25. Well, I'm going to do 25 because of my knee surgery. I want the rest of you to aim for 50. But she said, honey child, I'll be able to do 10. Do 10. If that's all you can do, that's fine. We've got a lot of listeners that are tuned in at home. So if you're at home, obviously, if you're driving, you can do the leg lifts if it's safe to do so. But I want everybody at their desk. Listen, if you're in government building, all of civil servants, get up right now. They're going to be like, what the heck are y'all doing? Get up and let's do some squats. So Dr. Sarah, are you ready? Can you stand with us? Now I have on my, you guys can't even see what I'm wearing because of the camera angle these days. But anyway, all right. I'm not going to adjust my camera necessarily. Dr. Sarah, you got it. So let me show you how to do a correct squat first.
Somebody's watching me. Is my anxiety.
So the important thing about squats is you don't want to have the knee further out than your toes. So that's an incorrect squat. So everybody see that video right there? So that's how not to do a squat, okay? So there's a couple modified squats that you can do. Sometimes even just putting your hand out will help you to balance if you have any balance issues. And you can even use a wall, right? So go up against a wall and use that to kind of like guide you down in terms of doing a squat properly. So let me show you the wall squat, but I want you guys to get up and do as many as you can do up to 25. So if you can do 50, by all means do 50. If you can't, then hey, do 10, do 5. We're going to start there and then we'll see where we go. So I am going to do, because I feel like I did 25 already this morning. So I am going to do 25. So I'm going to just back my chair up a little bit. So again, let me just show you the correct way to do a squat. So your knees don't go over the feet. You need to adjust that. Yep, here's the correct way. There you go. And use your hands, right? So the knees can be in alignment with the feet, but you don't want them to go over the feet because then you're not doing it right. All right, so everybody ready? Dr. Sarah, how many are you gonna try?
I'm not feeling my best this morning, so I'm gonna try and just do 10 because I think my toddler got sick.
Okay, all right, so I'm gonna go for 25. Somebody count with me and I'll do 25 and then I'm gonna sit back down. And, you know, isn't it great if we could do it and talk at the same time? Because then that shows that you got a little bit of cardiovascular resistance going on there. But yeah, let's just go ahead and do it, and we'll count it out. So you get your stance in first. Yeah.
Can I say a little trick? If you're at a desk if you're at your desk, a good way to like see how, if you're going down far enough, is if you lightly touch the bottom of your chair.
Yes. So I do have a chair behind me, so that's a great idea. Although I feel like these days I'm not going down as far as I should because of my knee, but that's a good idea. So yeah, because basically a squat, and that's why the quad muscles, we were talking about why that's so important, is because throughout your entire life, the one thing you got to be able to do is get up, right? So being able to get up out of bed when you're 80 years old is really, really important. Being able to get up out of the chair. So this is what you do. And the other thing that a lot of us do, because believe it or not, you do a squat when you go sit on the toilet, right? That's a squat. But the thing that you tend to do is most of us hold on to the quads to give us support. So I don't want you guys to hold on to the quads. I want you to put your hands out in front of you, or, you know, put them to the side, but don't hold on, because then you are basically and that means that you got some weak quads going on if you find that you have to hold on a lot. Okay. Somebody said she finished already. What, girl? All this talking and you're done. All right. So let's do it. All right. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. Everybody feeling it? I'm already feeling a little burned there, child. 4, 5, 6. I got to counter it or else I forget. 7, 8, 9, 10. So Dr. Sarah said she's going to stop at 10. I'm going to keep going. So Dr. Sarah, while I'm keep going, I'm counting in my head, tell us about holistic health. So now they're saying that exercise might work better than medication for depression. So this is why all these things, exercising, getting out in Mother Nature, extremely important. Talk a little bit about that while I finish up.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. So many times the best treatment for depression tends to be a mix of medication and behavioral health. But what research shows is that medication works well, but it's a temporary fix. Things like exercise and therapy and talk therapy are more of a long-term fix, right? So it's the difference between kind of putting the bandage on and then like kind of putting the iodine in, making sure that it's like being taken care of over time and actually healing. And actually, squats in particular are particularly good for depression. I don't remember the exact science behind it, but I think it like boosts testosterone levels. And really? It actually helps quite well. I mean, it's not necessarily a cure for depression, but definitely can help increase your serotonin levels and your dopamine levels.
Huh. Interesting. Okay. I can definitely feel the heart. Got a little bit of a workout there from those. So every hour, so at 9:30, we're going to do another set. Okay. Cheryl did 50. Good for you. Yes. Congrats to everybody who, Omeria said she did 25. Woohoo. Amazing. I love it. We're on this journey together. So the balance of things, like when you see a patient, you know, obviously you need to assess kind of where they are, why are they coming to you? Let's talk about the fact that, and I believe in this, can't you just have check-in sessions? Like maybe I'm feeling great. I feel fine. I'm not depressed. You know, I don't think I have any mental health issues. Can't I just say, Dr. Sarah, can I just come and see you just because?
Absolutely. I actually have clients who, when they saw me initially weekly, and then we go to biweekly, and then we go to monthly. And now I have some folks that I check in with like 4 times a year just to see how they're doing, just to check in. And many of those sessions can be more like coaching sessions where we are less talking about how to fix your mental health and more so how to boost you and take you to the next level. What goals do you have for yourself? How are you striving for more self-actualization. I think that there's a common misconception that therapy is only for when you're doing poorly. It can also be for when you're wanting to move yourself to the next level in your life as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah,
it's also
for
really
sure.
good for couples, right? Because I think sometimes we get into a rut as a couple, we can get into a rut in our relationships, and it can be good to just check in with someone in case someone's kind of holding on to things, you know, they're kind of just letting things go for a really long period of time. It can be good to just check in and say like, hey, how are we doing? Are we still dating like we used to, or like we need to be doing? Are we still taking care of each other in the same way? So it's also a really helpful thing for couples, I think.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And, you know, we actually have, I think we finally found a host for After Dark show. We're working on some of the details, and that's going to be like a relationship based show, right? And I think that a lot of us, like, we need to sometimes check in with ourselves to really discuss, because it's easy to not really think about how you're feeling, you know, because we kind of in autopilot mode all the time. So we just get up and go, get up and go. And then one day just hits you like, oh my God, you know, I'm not able to really get out of bed. I'm not able to function. I've been feeling things coming on for a while, but because you don't slow down and you don't take the time to really listen to your emotions and to do like an emotional wellness check, basically. I feel like, you know, it can just hit you almost seemingly out of nowhere, but normally there were signs there that something's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we have a lot of automatic thoughts that are kind of just going through our head on a day-to-day basis. And I think what most people do, I know what most people do is we're kind of just thinking, right? That stuff is kind of going on in the background. And most of us tend to believe whatever I'm thinking must be true because I'm thinking it. We don't really realize that thoughts are kind of just coming and going, and they're many times based on our experiences and the general emotion that we're experiencing in the moment, but they may not even be based in reality. And so when someone ends up struggling with mental health, those thoughts start to kind of take a darker turn, right? Or an anxious turn. And we're believing everything, right? We're believing everything rather than just saying like, oh, wow, I'm having a depressed thought. We think if the thought is saying like, oh, you're so stupid, we believe, well, I must be so stupid if I'm thinking I'm so stupid, right? And we don't say, oh, I'm having the thought that I'm so stupid.
Right.
So we start to take it on, right? And believe it and believe everything that we think. And that's really when it starts to take a hold.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Got a few comments here. So this listener to the program says, yes, the most dangerous person to a woman anytime and any period will be her partner. Isn't that shocking? But yeah. And that's just a fact. And as you say, the very most dangerous time is when she's trying to leave a relationship because, you know, people don't necessarily handle the separation. And, you know, it's also the case, Dr. Sarah, that the relationship may have been free of violence. This is a thing that people don't understand. They'll say, well, I never saw anything. That doesn't mean there wasn't violence, but you may find that this person has never hit you. They've never yelled at you. But when you say to them, okay, I want to end this relationship, I want a divorce, something happens with people at the end of relationships that can really set them off. And you become uncharacteristically somebody else almost, right? So even in situations like that, it becomes dangerous. Like I've read stories, you know, coming out of the States and different places where, you know, they were in negotiations, they were talking about, you know, the division of assets, everything. There was one recently where the wife had even gotten on social media and said about how well it was going, like everything was going fantastic. And then next thing you know, it's murder-suicide, you know, and you're like, what? I thought things were going well. So explain to us, how does that happen that at the breaking up stage, things just go totally left field?
Well, the thing is that anger, what we call, tends to be a secondary emotion, right? And what that means is that there's another emotion under that emotion. And the emotion that tends to be under anger is anxiety, right? And so It may be that that person was feeling that anxiety the entire time, and when we feel anxiety, it means we have a desire to control something, right? And so perhaps they were trying to control it by being kind, by being amenable, maybe holding on to some hope that things might change. And then when they realized that they were going to fully lose control, that comes out.
Wow.
Because the anxiety gets so big that it turns into that anger, and then it kind of comes out in that way. And in all domestic violence, and even in emotional abuse, which, I think we don't talk about enough. We talk, people see the visual of domestic violence when it's physical, but there's a lot of emotional abuse that can happen in relationships as well. And all of that is about control. One person feeling so anxious that they don't have full control over that person, and utilizing words and utilizing physical violence to keep that person close to them. What they're really wanting is love. They just don't know how to do it appropriately.
Isn't that something? So fear can drive other emotions and other actions. Yeah. Wow. All right, folks, we do have an accident alert this morning. A vehicle has overturned, talking about bad driving earlier. A vehicle has overturned. Oops, that's the wrong one. Hold on. Let me remove that one here from the studio. But a vehicle has overturned on the Spots Straits. So we just want to caution everyone to please be careful if you're in that area. So it looks like quite a serious accident, in fact. Is that a flow truck? I think it's a flow truck that has overturned. So please be careful if you are traversing this area at the moment. You will encounter some delays. It is in the eastbound lane, but of course, even people coming into town, no doubt, will be rubbernecking and will slow things down. Just drive very, very cautiously in the area, and we hope that everybody's okay after that incident this morning. We do have a caller on the line. Good morning, caller. Question or comment for Dr. Sarah this morning?
Good morning, Sandra. Good morning, Dr. Sarah.
Good morning.
I have a question for Dr. Sarah. She mentioned anger being a secondary emotion for men. Dr. Sarah, how much of that is because men are usually conditioned not to be expressive with their emotions? For example, here in Cayman, I would venture in other parts of the world as well, that, when little boys growing up and they cry or they feel anxious or whatever feeling that they're having, they're not given the same emotional support that little girls and women get. So you'll hear things like, all right, man up, boys don't cry. So anger really is the only emotion that's sort of socially acceptable for a man to express. I want your thoughts on that, Dr. Sarah.
You are absolutely spot on, actually. Anger does tend to be one of the only emotions that tends to be socially acceptable for men. And so when they're feeling sad, it gets to the point where men, because it's only socially acceptable, they don't even understand that they're feeling sad or anxious or worried or hurt or annoyed, even smaller emotions. They can only say, I'm angry. I'm just really upset by this. They don't really understand the other emotion that they're having, because throughout their lives, maybe when they cried about something, they were told not to cry about it. And so, but they learned that when they got angry about it, people responded to that emotion, right? They got attention for that emotion. And so you're absolutely spot on. That is part of the endemic that we see in men, is that they're not attuned to the other emotions. I work with a lot of veterans, right? And a lot of male veterans. And one of the first things I have to do with them is break out what I call the emotion wheel, right? And say, what are you feeling? And they say, I'm feeling angry. I said, okay, but what's under the anger? They said, I'm just feeling angry. And it takes a while to even be able to identify because emotions are just signals, body signals that your body is giving you, right? That something is wrong. And in order to understand the nuances of like what signal is what signal, sometimes it can take a while for men to kind of recalibrate to what those different emotions are, because they're only taught that and only given positive reinforcement, right? Like when they're aggressive, even as little boys, are like, oh, look at him standing up for himself, and getting praised for those kinds of things. It's the only one that they tend to turn to. So yes, I agree. That is a big part of it. And a big part of it is that when they are feeling upset, they don't have other men to share that with, right? I think a big solution is that if men shared more with each other, less of this would happen. Because when you're women, we share with each other all the time, get on the phone, talk, and things like that. And it helps to break up some of that.
I think Dr. Sarah's internet kind of tripped out a little bit. So while we're waiting for her to come back on, little internet glip, we'll read a few comments here this morning. So congratulations, Miss Marjorie did 33 squats. Good for you. John LaRue says, I didn't do any as I'm on Ozempic. Naughty, naughty. Sadiqa did 26. That is fantastic. Amiria, yep, she did 25. I love it. I love it. I love it. Cheryl did 50. Now look at this person showing off in the comment section. She did 20. She said, I'm going to do 20, but I'm doing deep squats. Don't mean to show off. Ooh, honey child. You have to be at a different level to be able to do a deep squat. So, Dr. Sarah, we saw you jumped out there. Give me 1 second here. I'm just going to kick the other one out so we don't get any feedback, and we will bring you back in. So I was just reading some of these other people and what they did. This person said she's going to do 20, but she did deep squats. Deep squats is where you go all the way down. That's when you're like, Caribbean people have the whole wind down thing. That's kind of what a deep squat is. You go all the way down to the ground, honey child. Good for her. Miss Marcia did 40. So congratulations on all of you who got up. And the person who said that they could only do, this person said they could only do 10. Look at them. They actually did, let me just see here now. They did more than 10. I think they said they did 16. Yep, they did 16. And then they have a seniors workout at 11 o'clock. So you go, girl. So 16, and they thought they could only do 10. That's amazing. All right. So somebody remind me, ring the little bell at 9:30 that we're going to do another 25. Okay. So Dr. Sarah, Sarah, you were saying to this caller that, the emotion tends to come from not just anger. That's the emotion that we see, but there's something else much deeper than that is going on. And to his point, men in particular are not given the opportunity, inner communities, inner societies, especially Caribbean and Latin American, we don't give them the space to feel any emotions except anger, because somehow we think that that's the one emotion that's acceptable for men. I think that is so sad.
It really is. It really is sad. And it's changing slowly. I think it's changed more in the States than it has been in the Caribbean, but trust, part of our show will definitely be talking about that, because men need community. They need a space where they're able to talk to other men, because everyone experiences these emotions based on society. We kind of experience them in different ways, and men need outlets, because what I was saying before I got cut off is anger can be like a soda bottle. Right? If you're feeling frustrated over time, it's like shaking up a soda bottle. And when you're able to talk to your friends, talk to support people, talk to your loved ones, it's like taking the cap off very slowly. Right? Versus what can happen is the person gets so frustrated that the cap just pops off. Right? And that's where we see the anger. And so we need space to be able to kind of pull the cap off a little bit more slowly.
So, as a psychological professional, Dr. Sarah, I'll ask you this and then I'll leave because I don't want to hog the lines. What would your recommendation be for, the people listening in Cayman who are still of this notion that, this topic came up a while back with Dr. Carlos if memory serves correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And you had a woman calling in. I think she said she had, I don't know, 14 children, and the last one was a little boy,
Mm-hmm.
and the rest were girls. And even she was like, "Oh well, I don't want my boy to turn out soft."
Mm.
And when you hear soft, I mean, read that as being gay, or being as expressive with his emotions as he is. What advice would you give to Caymanians, and especially Caymanian mothers of boys, when their boys are, in their feelings, so to speak?
I think that's a great point, because I think we think that it's only men that are perpetrating this on men and telling men this, but it's actually a full-fledged societal things, right? That moms actually do this as well. Well, I can say from a scientific standpoint that everybody can rest assured that if you allow your boy to express his emotion, I promise that he will not automatically and magically have a propensity towards another male partner. That's not something that's scientifically proven, that if you express your emotions that you will become gay. That's just not something that's true. I think in our society we just associate emotions with the feminine, and then we associate being homosexual, being gay, with feminine as well, and that's kind of where that misconception comes. So I would say to mothers that what you're doing is you are going to be raising a son that is going to be better to the women and the men in his life. And it's also a misconception that emotions can't be a masculine thing, that you can't hold both of those things at the same time, because when we see a man who is secure and stable, it's because he can regulate his emotions. He knows his emotions well. And that comes from being able to identify them and being able to express them, right? It's not about crying all the time. We wouldn't want that for women either, right? It's about learning to regulate your emotions appropriately. And little boys need to learn how to regulate their emotions appropriately. Little girls need to learn how to regulate their emotions appropriately. And there's nothing sexual about learning and expressing emotions.
Caller? Hello, caller?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I was saying, I think we got cut off there. I was saying, thank you so much. Have a nice day, ladies.
Okay, thank you too. All right. So, yes, everyone has it should be like one of the human rights, the right to feel and express themselves without, being judged about how you do that. And we have to start at the very, very earliest stage when it comes to our children and how we're allowing them to express themselves. So what are some suggestions, Dr. Sarah, that you would recommend and how to navigate dealing with children? I have a 9-year-old, and I can tell you that you're absolutely right. Even when she had tantrums, one or two that was like, whoa, I'm like, what on earth is going on here? When she was kind of going through, before she was even 2, but, she couldn't, the one thing was she wasn't at the stage where she had speech. And so for me, I immediately recognized, as an adult, and this is why I keep saying to parents, think of other ways, because, Caribbean people go, I gotta beat that child, I gotta tear it. Yeah. I'm just like, please find another way to discipline children without putting your hands physically on them. It's just so wrong. And I used to believe that too. And then I'm a believer in research and evidence-based discussions. And like I said, data-driven decisions, right? The triple D. So over time, I've changed my position. I'm like, no, this doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make logical sense. And the data certainly does not support it. But I remember one time it was over some peas or something she was eating, and I don't really know what was going on, because I said, imagine not having the ability to speak, because they understand a lot of what's happening in the world around them. They can hear you, obviously, they understand your instructions, but they don't have the ability to yet express themselves. And so I even started to teach her sign language so that she could ask for some basic needs, right? So she knew the sign language for milk, for water, for mommy, for daddy. You know, she knew some basic words. When it was bath time, you know, she knew it was bath time and she wanted a bath, she would signal that she wanted a bath. But imagine a lot of people don't do that. And so the kids don't even have basic sign language, which means that she's fully cognizant. She knows what a bath is. She knows what milk is. But she doesn't know, she hasn't developed the vocal skills to be able to say, this is what I want. Right? So obviously she also can't tell me what is getting her upset in this moment. She could have just been tired and I'm trying to get her to eat her peas. Maybe it was even about the peas, like who knows, right? So she just had a moment where she threw a tantrum and I said, you know what? I just looked at her and I said, I understand. Do you want a hug? Because for me, I'm like, a hug fixes a lot. Sometimes you just need a hug. You know, I don't know if you've ever seen these experiments on social media where people just go around and offer a random person a hug. And when you see that person come in and really hug, you're like, oh my God, that person really needed that. Like nobody knew that sitting on the train, you know, they needed that moment of just human connection. So even babies, sometimes they just need a hug. Sometimes it's like you want a little moment, a little timeout moment where, you know, take time and regulate yourself. How can we expect a baby and children to regulate their emotions when as human beings, we struggle with it?
Well, that part, right? But I think it's also important to know, Sandy, you're right. I think a big part of it, I mean, well, I know a big part of it is that we don't have language at that time. But I think a very common misconception is that babies should be able to regulate their emotions. The fact of the matter is that children at a very young age, they don't have the ability. Their brains are still developing. Our brains are not fully developed until we're 25 years old. Right? So our brains are still developing all the way up until 25 years old.
Yep.
And for when you're that young, your brain is like on fire, right? All of your neurons are kind of firing off and they don't know what to do with that yet. They don't have the skills. Their mind isn't developed enough to do anything about it. They don't know how to regulate their emotions. And so at that age, that hug, what you're doing for that child is you're co-regulating with that child. You know, I think even in Jamaican culture, it's like, man, make the picnic cry, man. Like, you know, it's like kind of just let them cry, let them cry it out. But they don't know how to soothe. They look to the parent to help them learn how to soothe. And so that hug is teaching them and helping them co-regulate so that as their brain develops, their brain remembers that soothed feeling that they felt and will start to learn to do it for itself.
So there are some parents who believe in this concept of let them cry it out, right? Like, oh, don't go pick up the baby, let them cry it out. I hear you saying here today that that's not the way to do it.
No, not as far as I'm concerned. It's not the way to do it. I think it's important to be able to help your child co-regulate when we're getting that initial attachment, especially for infants. The first stage of attachment is that secure attachment. Babies need to know when I cry, someone's gonna come and get me. That's the first signal to the brain that they're safe in this world. And if you're able to do that for them young, it's actually increases the likelihood when they're older that they're going to be able to do it for themselves because their mind already is in the belief that I am safe. I am okay in this world.
Wow. Very good. Lady D says, when I learned this, I taught my boys that it's okay to cry if they're hurting or angry because it doesn't make them less of a man to express the hurt. It also allows them to acknowledge their feelings. And I think even the act of crying is something that is underrated, in my opinion. Sometimes you just need a good cry.
Absolutely. Fun fact. Tears have cortisol in them. So when you cry, it's literally stress leaving the body.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay. Barbara G says mental abuse is worse than physical abuse. Is that true?
I don't know if I would put a value on one being worse than the other. What Barbara might be getting at is that many times mental abuse is silent and hidden. And if someone has a shiner, they might get a little bit more sympathy from people.
Right.
Because it's something that you can see.
Yes.
And mental abuse is not necessarily something you can see. And so it can be one of those things that somebody suffers with alone.
Yeah. True. All right. Strong Will, good morning to you. Says sometimes you're sleeping with your enemy. Barbara says ignorance on the part of some parents who themselves were not allowed to vent or even speak out about their own feelings when they were young. And so this goes to the fact that we kind of repeat and do what we know and what we've become accustomed to. That's how you have these cycles of dysfunction and chaos, as I call it, right? And so you've got to know that you can change, that you can do better. You can, just because you were raised a particular way doesn't mean that that's how you have to raise your children. So I'm always super annoyed when I hear parents say, well, my parents beat me and I turned out okay. I'm like, well, first of all, we're not sure if you're okay. You might not even know if you're okay. And secondly, that is not a reason to continue the cycle of anything because your parents did it. Your parents probably did a lot that wasn't right by you. And so that is not a reason to say, well, let's just keep it going. Maybe we look at what the evidence says instead. So thank you so much for the comments coming in. Marjorie says some parents slap their children when they're crying and the parents do not know or try to figure out why they're crying. Yeah, this is very, very frustrating for me to see, especially with much younger children. Getting physical with them when they are expressing some level of emotions, I think is really disheartening. So what do we do with babies instead? When you said you've got to acknowledge the baby, maybe we need some real ways of knowing how to do that.
Right. Well, I think that there's this common misconception that babies are trying to manipulate us. Like babies don't even know how to feed themselves. They don't know how to be manipulative. Right. And so I think that's a common misconception.
So
before they learn language, crying is baby language.
Yes.
Right. There's actually, if you listen well enough, babies are telling you what they need through their cries. I don't remember. I'm past the infant stage now. I don't remember all of them. But there are certain cries for I'm hungry. There are certain cries for I'm wet. There are certain cries for I'm tired. There are certain cries for my stomach hurts. There are different cries. So babies come out of the womb with innate language that they know. And so rather than getting frustrated, tune in, listen, because if you listen, you'll actually know, oh, my baby needs this, right? When my son was younger, I knew like, oh, he needs to change. He needs this, he needs that, because he was telling me through his different cries exactly what was going on.
And Gabby here makes a very good point. Again, Caribbean people say all this time, the first thing people say is, you're going to spoil that baby. It's like, and yes, and people like accuse kids, like babies, of being able to, as you say, oh, she them babies so smart, they just want this and want that, they're manipulating you, and you're like, really? The baby's smarter than us?
Right.
It is pretty crazy. Good morning, Miss Emma. So good to see you here. MPG says, doesn't this contribute to the state that our society is in now with all the mental health issues by always being present and not allowing critical thinking to form naturally regarding crying babies?
Always allowing.
So in other words, there is a school of thought, and I'm a proponent of this as well, is maybe the pendulum is swinging too far the other way, where we're cuddling everyone too much. And so as a result of that, we have a society that can't function anymore. Kids can't function. Everybody is depressed. Everybody is, but is that, in your opinion, when it comes to babies, I think you've already answered the question, but just to clarify, do you think that that's part of what's happening? Are we going too far with the emotional discovery, if you will?
Well, I would venture to say that we always had these emotions. Nobody was talking about them. right? A lot of people were suffering in silence for long periods of time. I think the pendulum can swing the other way when we utilize our emotions as a crutch or an excuse to why we can't grow and be resilient. I think maybe what we are mistaking is that there was a level of resilience that we had to have before because we kind of just had to keep going, and perhaps some of that resilience is being undermined now. Emotions are meant to be understood but not used as an excuse, right? And so like I said before, emotions are a signal, right? And when we ignore the signal, we become more sick, right? Mental health does stem from that. Part of the reason why we have all of these attachment struggles these days is because we were not given the appropriate secure attachment as children. That's why a lot of people are anxious in their relationships or avoidant in their relationships now, right? Why we have so many relational issues these days because we didn't have a lot of secure attachment to our parents. And so, yes, I do think that we can come to an age where people utilize their emotions to say, well, I'm just depressed, so I can't do anything. Right? Yes, I do think that can happen, but I don't think it's a black or white thing, right? I think if we always go to like, oh, the pendulum has swung the other way, then we can also use that as an excuse to not appropriately attend to emotions as well. Because the fact of the matter is, when emotions are ignored, they will not be ignored for very long. They get louder and louder and louder and louder, and they can come out as anger, they can come out as anxiety, they can come out as depression, but they will be hurt if they're not attended to.
Yeah. And to go back to MPG's question as well, the one time that you want to provide that emotional support is when they're babies, when they are developing. As you say, young adults, your brain doesn't develop. And I've said this numerous times before, until you're 25. So it's those first 25 years, but most importantly, the first 5 years that are extremely critical as you're teaching your kids how to navigate, and you continue to do so. You know, I try to listen to little things that my daughter says, like, oh, you know, I had lunch with so-and-so today at her table and my other friend got upset. And I said, why? You know, did you ask her why? And to get her to kind of think about how certain actions, although we don't mean it, could inadvertently hurt someone's feelings. And then how do you deal with that? How do you handle that? So I said, you know, did you talk to her about it? And she said, no, but her mom complained to the school. And I said, well, that means that she was really upset. Imagine if she went home and told her mom about it. That means that she was really upset and she didn't understand why you didn't have lunch with her today. And do you know why you didn't have lunch? She's like, no, it's just that this person invited me. So there was nothing to it. And I said, well, maybe she interpreted it as something else. So you could have a conversation with her and tell her, you know, that you didn't mean to hurt her feelings and give her a hug. I'm sure she's going to feel so much better when you give her a hug, right? Don't you love hugs? And she's like, yeah, you know, so
yeah. Absolutely. You're teaching at that point, you're teaching your kid good communication skills, right? It's a foundation. When they're infants, you're just teaching them you're safe. When they're 5, when they're 3 and 4, you're teaching them how to have a little bit more of that independence. Like, you're safe, I'm here, but go out and explore a little bit. And then as they're older, you're teaching that you're not cuddling them, cuddling forever. You're teaching, okay, I'm still here, but you're slowly but surely allowing them to interact with the world. And that's exactly what you did in that moment, right? You taught your child, like, I'm here for you. I'm not going to just say, oh, well, you have the right to feel the way you feel and do whatever you want and forget her, right? You're teaching her, like, well, how can you communicate appropriately with your friend in this moment?
Yep. Because communication is hard. Conflict resolution is hard, you know, throughout our entire lives. Shaka Zulu says it definitely changed for Gen Z in terms of them expressing themselves. But I don't know about that, because especially here in the Caribbean, again, young boys don't want to express themselves, you know, for fear of what people will think of them. I think I read that one by Lady D. Let me see here now. Yes, so I think we're caught up in those comments. But yeah, I mean, it's very important to let people know that they can, you know, express themselves around you, and it's not a problem. This other person says that my daughter taught her youngest sign language. Yep. I mean, you'd be surprised how much. And listen, I'm not fluent in sign language. So we would sit there and watch a sign language YouTube instructor who was doing sign language for babies. And she was amazing. And just by watching that, Gianna picked up on so many words and stuff. I was amazed. And it just gave her a little ability to communicate. This person says, your question needs to be, are you physically capable of doing squats? I can barely bend down. Girl, get on it. One at a time. It's soon time to do our next set. Ask Dr. Sarah, by the way, it's spelled with 2 A's, her name, why men may stay in a relationship where the woman is abusive. So let's flip this a little bit. Although the vast majority of abuse, especially physical abuse, really does come from the male partner to the female partner, there are cases, it's not unheard of, where women are actually the aggressors. What is driving that behavior in women? And of course, the flip coin of that is you're far less likely to have a male victim want to come forward and admit that he is a victim.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you said it right there. Men are far less likely to want to come forward and say that they're a victim. Physical abuse, the reason why is just because of, the physical stature and strength of women versus men, but there's also a lot of emotional abuse that men endure in relationships with women as well. And it's the same function for men as it is for women, right? That fear, that anxiety, that power, that wanting to control the other person. It's true in both scenarios. And the reason why men don't leave is the same reason why women won't. They're afraid, right? They're afraid to leave. There's a lot of emotional manipulation that goes along many times with physical abuse, and admitting it can be much harder for men, right? Admitting that that there's that power imbalance because of society, because of all of the things that we've been talking about today. And I would advise men to do kind of the same thing. I would say that everyone needs a trusted someone. It's so much harder to leave an abusive relationship, whether it's emotional or physical, if you don't have anybody, right? One of the first things that we'll see in abusive relationships is that the perpetrating partner will start to isolate the victim partner from all of their support networks, right? So that they can have more and more control over this person. And so one of the first steps can be find a support network, right? Go back to the people. If you feel like you can go back to the people who used to be your support network, reach out to some people. Reach out if you can, right? In a safe way, because sometimes it's harder to find safe ways to reach out to people. But you have to build some kind of a network, even if it's just one trusted person, to be able to discuss these things with, because the isolation can make it one of the hardest reasons why someone doesn't want to leave. And men who are in these abusive relationships can feel particularly isolated because of the shame that they experience from divulging this information. Women feel shame in admitting, like, I'm in an abusive relationship. And for men, because of our society and the way society is, it can be even more stigmatizing and shameful. And so it takes courage to work past that shame, to reach out to a trusted loved one.
All right, 936-2626. Phone lines are open. We are going to be wrapping up here in a little bit with the good doc. Mental health and awareness is her focus area. And then we're going to go into a little bit of overtime today because we do need to talk about the storm that everyone is watching to ensure that you're getting the best preparation in place from now, because this is very, very critical. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to get them in. Aisle 2025 says men in Cayman aren't as independent as women, so some stay for a place to live. Oh my gosh, well, that's interesting. I hadn't really thought about it that way, Aisle 2025, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Financial reasons are another really big reason why people don't leave relationships. I mean, if you have nowhere to go or no way to financially take care of yourself, that's another control mechanism, right? Money is a big isolation is a way of control. Physical abuse is a way of control. withholding funds is a way of control. All of this is about control.
Yes. Good point. And that's why, I always feel, even, there's some women who are intelligent, they went to law school, they went to, medical school, and then they find their dream guy and they give up their independence. Oh, I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom because he's going to take care of me. He's going to take care of everything. And I think that unfortunately, when they go that route, they put themselves in a bit of a predicament, because now what happens when you find out that he's not the Prince Charming that you thought he was going to be, and he's actually, an abusive SOB. We're off radio now, so, but you find out he's just an asshole. And then what are you going to do? You're restricted in what you can do because you've given up your financial freedom to be able, and independence to be able to be a stay-at-home mom and raise your children. And I've seen so many instances where that's the case. In fact, here in the Cayman Islands, we had a very, very famous case. Dr. Sarah, you might want to give me 1 second, because I'm gonna share this just as a cautionary tale. When it comes to, let me just see here. This guy was actually a partner at a local law firm, Maples, and that's kind of the top law firm in the Cayman Islands. And so he actually, here we go. This is a slew of stories here. You'll find this very, very interesting and on point with what I'm saying here. He was alleged at Miami Beach. Him and his wife went there, and he was alleged, they found her unconscious in the hallway at this hotel in Miami Beach. And so they arrested him and charged him with assaulting his wife on his birthday. They went up there for a birthday celebration. And I can tell you that this was October of 2019. So there he is. That was his mugshot. And so, this whole incident happened. He was charged with battery, aggravated, great bodily harm, because she was in such a state when they found her. She was like knocked out in the hallway and unconscious. And they were like, how did you get here? And so they noticed that he was sort of hovering over her in the hospital, trying to talk to her. And the staff were very, very suspicious about what had happened there. And as the details came out of the incident, they were concerned that he was trying to manipulate her into not moving forward with charges, because her story continually changed, even with the circumstances of what happened to her and what she remembered. And it was alleged that he had basically beat his wife unconscious in what was called by the police a vicious assault. And so the details in this, their docket document, I should tell you, when I read it, I was really, really disturbed. So, they found her unconscious in the hallway. They checked CCTV footage and injuries to the left side of her face. She was treated at Mount Sinai Hospital. A doctor noted, and I quote, at least 3 fractures to the left side of her face surrounding her eye, and a laceration next to the same eye. They viewed the CCTV footage, observed that the couple went into the room around 2:49 a.m. His wife was observed holding a towel to her face and walked down the hallway, where she then passed out in front of another room number. So when they found her passed out, they obviously called, 911, emergency services, and the manager did a security check of the room and found signs of an altercation, woke up Marshall, her husband. He admitted to being out drinking and having an argument, and claims he did not recall anything further. And then he proceeded to go to the hospital to visit his wife. And that's where things got really, really interesting, because it said from the report, it appears that the parties attempted to cover up the assault, but the hospital staff alerted police to a possible domestic battery incident as well. They should have. And the Miami-Dade police officer who went to the hospital, he separated Marshall from his wife, observing what he said in the statement. After separating him from the victim, I attempted to have a conversation with him, stated the officer in his complaint/arrest affidavit. At first, he wasn't making he was not, sorry, making any sensible statements. He had an odor of alcohol emitting from his mouth and slurred speech. He was unable to maintain his balance. And then he goes on that say that the defendant had scratches on him that he could not explain. And his wife also claimed to not recall what transpired after they got drunk and had an argument. She appeared to not want to cooperate with the police and did not want her photo taken after initially agreeing to do so. And so then he believed, after he checked the security footage and so on, that the inconsistency in both of the defendant and the victim statement and the extent of the injuries sustained by the victim, the only conclusion is that he was the primary aggressor. And so he was charged. Now, here's where this story gets even more interesting. I'm trying to find. She actually, just a few days after this, here she is, beautiful woman. She actually reaches out to us as news media because we were the ones kind of, leading the coverage on this. She reached out and told us in a letter that her husband didn't assault her. But you know what was so weird about this, Dr. Sarah? Who do you think the letter came from? Like, what email address?
Was it his address?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was just like, she claims that, she's been married all this time and they have children and all these reasons that women in their heads justify why they should stay with a partner who is abusive. And so I felt for her. And of course, she wanted the letter published because she's like, I want people to know that my husband didn't do this. I said, yeah, right. Okay. We'll publish it. And, that they'd been together for 14 years and supposedly he's never did this. And she said the allegations made by the City of Miami Police Department against David are false. My injuries were not the result of any battery or violent acts that David committed against me, but couldn't explain how she got them. So sad.
Yeah.
So, and I imagine, again, she's used to the lifestyle because, people come here, these partners make, 20, 25 grand a month. They make stupid money. And, she's used to the parties and, the wife of a Maples partner and all this kind of stuff. But Maples is a very interesting company in that they were not going to be any part of this. They terminated him immediately. They had him hand in his resignation. And so he went from being a Maples partner to going to a smaller firm. They still took him on as partner, which is crazy, knowing these allegations against him that would even happen. And eventually that firm didn't last for very long. So I don't even know where he is these days. He's probably gone back to the UK. But wild that, and again, this is a cautionary tale. As women and men, we need to be careful that you don't give up your independence, even your financial independence, when you're in a relationship, because you could be putting yourself at risk one day of really having nothing if you need to leave that relationship.
It is risky. And, everyone has their different arrangements that work for them. But it is a risk. It is a risk to be financially dependent on another person.
Mm-hmm. All right, folks, let's go ahead and wrap this up. We got to do our next set of exercises. Barbara says the crying that you're hearing is sometimes not as loud as what is happening in the inside of the child. I have a cousin that was not developing what seemed to be normal. Her mother was in denial and too proud to get the child help. When she finally took the child for help, the doctor said she was too late. Sadly, the child is now an adult and has been in care for life. Wow. Margie says, so there's a proven correlation between the way a child is treated during childhood and their mental state as a teenager. Yes?
Yep.
Question mark.
For sure. For sure. And those first, when you look at trauma research, those first, I can't remember the exact years, but I want to say the first 1 to 2 years of a child's life does more to impact them throughout the rest of their life emotionally than the rest of their life.
Wow.
It's so much harder to salvage a child after that time period. Now, can that happen? Yes. But the amount of impact it has to the limbic system, which is that fight or flight part of the system, all of that is happening within those first few months to years of a child's life. It is such a vital time, right? And a child is mostly limbic system, right? That bigger part of the brain is not developed yet. And that signal, right? You know, where you feel like anxiety, like that alarm we have in our in our emotions, that is being developed during that time. And anybody with anxiety knows, or stress or trauma knows, that signal can become really, really, really sensitive if you're not appropriately taken care of when you're in those first couple years of life.
Wow. So, of course, as you say that, it comes to mind that, you know, there's so many people who, when they have children, they're not ready, like themselves emotionally. They're not mature enough to know how to help, you know, in those first critical years. So what do you say to, you know, we've got teenagers having kids, they're definitely not ready. We've got young adults having kids before they're ready. Wow. What do you say to people who, you know, are in childbearing ages who don't think about the responsibility of having a child at that age?
I mean, what is there what is there to say, right? I mean, if it happens, it happens. I would
Yeah.
say that it's harder to have emotional stability yourself when you don't have as many resources, right? And
Right.
so that can be difficult. If someone already has a child, you know, I wouldn't never want to disparage anyone. I would say
Yeah.
try to give that child as much love and compassion and care as possible, but that can be harder if you're struggling yourself, right? um I would say the more support and resources you have, you know, depending whether you're a young person or you're just a person with lower resources in general, it's harder, right? And so we want to have compassion for that too, right? But it can be helpful if we are able to overcome just the simplest things, like if your child is crying, like love on them, right? If your baby, especially if your infant is crying, it's okay to love on them. I give you permission.
Yep. Okay. And something to be said perhaps for more of us thinking about family planning, like, you
Right.
know, encouraging young people to utilize effective birth control and not to have children if they themselves are struggling,
Right.
because it becomes that much more difficult.
Right. If you're emotionally struggling, and trust me, having a child is not for the faint of heart, right? And if you're emotionally struggling yourself, it's going to be harder to take care of a child emotionally if you're going through it emotionally as well. And so the more resources, you know, the more planning you can have behind it.
Yeah. Lady D1 says when they're exposed, they force the other partner to retract and to say it didn't happen at all. And I think that's exactly what happened in this case. Barbara is asking if she's still alive. I mean, I hope so. I've not really heard anything about them recently. They probably have now left the jurisdiction because, you know, not too many people were going to hire him with this sort of record. But I hope she is, and I hope she's okay. And in fact, I hope that she, as a matter of fact, wait a second.
Hold on. Sandy, I have to head out to a meeting.
Yes. Yeah. Do your squats before you leave, please.
Oh, okay. I will. I'll see you all next week.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Wait a minute. I feel like I know the update on this. Hold on one second. I think I know what happened to her. I think she did leave him. Hold on. I feel like, oh my gosh, what is his name again? Hold on. I think I know exactly what happened. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to jog my memory. I was trying to remember if it was her or somebody else, but I think it is her. I think she eventually left him and she's married to another guy here in Cayman. What is his name? Ooh. It's going to come to me. Hold on. Trying to remember now. Yeah, because I think the last time we spoke about this, somebody told me. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm going to get the information. But I do believe that she eventually left him. Hold on. And she's still alive. Got a better husband. Okay. Hold on. I'm gonna tell you. It's coming to me. I'm trying to remember the husband's name. That's what I can't remember right now. The new husband. I know he's in my phone. Hold on one second. I know how I can find out about him as well. Yeah, but I think it's her that has since left him and remarried. Hold on one second. Okay. Oh, Kirks. Let me see here. Yes. Okay. Yes. Oh Lord, what is his name? I just remembered the first name. Hold on. Yeah. Hold on. Yep. Yes. So, okay. Yes. Let me just confirm. I think it was her. Okay. So yes, she has moved on, married somebody else. And in fact, he is long gone, has been in the UK for a long time, and they have little to no communication anymore aside from emergencies that may come up about the children because they did have children. So yeah, so as it turned out, I hope one day that she'll actually talk about this, but as it turned out, I think the evidence in the end demonstrated, because she eventually left him, that he was a straight up abuser and asshole. But, I'm curious again, I know people don't want to talk about their personal stuff and whatever, but I'd be interested to know, kind of, I would love for her to tell us a little bit about why she even did that letter, but yeah, he's gone. They've since divorced. Luckily, she got out alive. And so she's, I guess, doing a lot better now. Oh, I got to get up and do my squats. Oh my gosh. Marjorie's done. She did 35. Ooh, honey child. Let's get it. So I'm going to use my chair a little bit to make sure I go down far enough, at least the chair. And then, yes, so I'm going to do 25 again. Okay. So you guys ready? Everybody ready? The husband was David Marshall and his wife was Jennifer. But like I said, she's since moved on. Good for her. Oh yeah. Hello. I was actually watching the Cardi B interview that she did with that guy last night. I have to watch it in stages because it's quite long. But okay, so everybody ready for your exercises? Everybody up? Get up at your desk, honey child. I'm gonna do 25. But here we go. Did you check with Marlon? Okay, so ready? Let's start. So, yep. I gotta make sure that I'm not going over the knee. I think that's a common mistake. Like a lot of people do that. So you gotta position it properly. All right, so let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can really feel it in that left knee. No, that's my right knee. 5, 6, and you gotta make sure you don't. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Do it controlled. 12, 13, 14. This is when I start to feel a little bit. 15, so 10 more. 16, 17, 18, 19, 5 more. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. Whew. So look at that. I've already done 75 for the day. That's pretty good. It's not even 10 o'clock yet. Oh, Lord. Yes, honey, child. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. So somebody said I did mine at 9:30. I like to keep on a schedule. Woo, honey, child. Let me see my heartbeat. Hold on. Let me see what we're at. I have my Aura ring on. I hope it's charged. Healthcare and fitness. So this monitors. Oh, man. I thought this was set up already. Oh, new phone. Searching for your ring. Oh, man, I got to connect it to the charger. Okay, I'll have to do that after the show. I got to keep the charger in my office. All right, so I'll do that later on because that would have given me my heart rate right now in real time. I'll get it done. All right, 31, Sadiqa, feels great, awesome. Barbara G, what did you do? Oh, I'm sure she did it under duress. In fact, I always thought that he wrote the letter for her. I didn't think she wrote it at all. But what was she going to do? You know, you've got children. This man is bringing in all the money. And he's an asshole wife beater. You know, she probably had to take her time getting out of the situation. MPG says, I can hear the knees cracking all the way here in Canada. Woo, yes, girl. I'm feeling it in that knee, but you know, it helps the knee too. So we got to do what we got to do. Miss Alma did her 25. Wonderful. Barbara G says, yep, did mine with you. Thanks. Awesome. I love it. Heart rate high. I want to check mine, but like I said, and then you know how quickly your heart rate comes down is also an indication of good cardiovascular health. So, we got to keep it up. Yeah, I've got all the smartwatches. Shaka, you know I got all the gadgets, honey child. You know me already. But I haven't set up my Aura ring. I have one of these Aura rings now, which tracks everything almost. The only thing it doesn't do that I wish it did was blood pressure. I wish there was a way for it to track blood pressure, but it doesn't. But it does sleeping patterns, like everything. One day we'll talk about that. Yep, I think he wrote the letter too. Barbara did 26. Good for you. Patricia Blake, you did 50. Girl, good. Wanda says, thanks for the motivation. I'm in. So if you're joining us late, how we're going to do it is every hour that we're sitting, we're going to get up and do 25, whatever you can do really, but hopefully 25 to 50 squats. Got to get those quads nice and strong. Strong Will says, Sandy, all those squats, your bonk is going to get bigger. No, no, honey. Sorry. No, honey, gel. The bonk is not going to get bigger. The legs are going to get stronger. Shamika did 55. Well done. Miss Marjorie, did you do any? Come on now, get moving. Somebody said that's a half squat. Listen here now, and I'm doing those deep squats where you go all the way down, you know, and you like almost sit on the ground. That's what them Chinese people be doing. Oh my gosh, those are hard. All right. Let me see now. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so let's talk about this storm. Yes. So obviously it looks like it's taking aim at Cayman. The projected models kind of have us right in the thick of it, which means that you need to prepare. There is no need to, there's no need to, there it is. Look like it's coming right for us, really. There's no need to panic. Or sometime next week, we're going to be looking at this. So they've got the projection through Tuesday thus far. This is Melissa. And so Melissa, every 24 hours, you know, they're starting to watch Melissa because it looks like she could be a threat to us first and foremost. And then she's probably going to go on to the United States of America. So I can tell you that these late storms can be very, very dangerous and very, very tricky. So yes, we are no longer in the height of the hurricane season, but that is no reason to think that we are out of harm's way. We are not. And so now what you want to do, folks, is you want to prepare as much as possible. So this government is already on it. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. They already have sandbags available. So you can go and get your sandbags. Cloudy conditions associated even today with trough over the Yucatan Peninsula, along with light southeasterly winds. That's the current forecast. 80 degrees is the temperature. Winds are east to southeast, about 5 to 10 knots. But it is what is potentially coming up ahead that we want to ensure that we're keeping a very, very close eye on. So we have locations for sandbags available today. You should know by now, if you live in an area where flooding is going to be a problem for you, or water potentially getting into your home, you want to get access to these sandbags because they will make your life a lot easier. So this is the location today that you can go and pick up: West Bay Fire Station, the Linford Pearson Highway, the Agriculture Pavilion. So those of us in the Savannah, Newlands area, that's the closest one to us. Frank Sound Fire Station. And if you're in Cayman Brac, also Cotton Tree Bay, Water and Place Garden. So volunteers, if you want to volunteer, please come out and assist from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. And we see here, someone has already sent out a picture this morning of people going to get their sandbags, and hazard management teams are now out assisting with this. So we're going to go out there and capture some news a little bit later on today. But this is definitely a system that is being watched very, very carefully. All right, because we are indeed in the projected areas of it. So we're going to keep an eye on this. And if you have rental properties, don't wait until the last minute to talk to your tenants. You want to talk to them now about what they need to do in terms of preparation. So Ms. Marjorie, it's still early days. Obviously, the system is being watched. All of the weather channels are a good friend there. What's his name? Oh gosh, can't remember his name now. They're on the lookout as well. So get out there, folks, and get your sandbags if needed. Yep. Okay. So not only that, but this is a time now to clear out your drains. You have drains on the roadway. You have public drains. If one is clogged and you know that you have Brian Shields, thank you so much. I couldn't remember his name right now. Yeah, you know that you've got areas that are low lying. By all means, we want to ensure that you are keeping a close eye on those things as well. All right. We came very close to doing a collaboration with Brian Shields, but his team said they were going through some changes, some internal changes. I'm going to follow up with them. So I'm going to just touch bases with them and see where they are. But we had actually been in contact with their team, and so let's see where they are. All right. So yeah. So we're gonna be on the lookout for this now, because there's a possibility of a real development here. And so all of the information is that Melissa is very, very slow, which means that is ripe for development. And so we want to know that that's not good for us, unfortunately, because she's moving so slow. She is earmarked to become a powerful storm. And also, like we said at the onset, these late season storms tend to be very, very powerful in any event. So we really haven't had, I'm surprised that we're down to M already, because I don't remember any other storms. How did we get down to Melissa? But in any event, we, we We need to watch this one for sure. So let's keep an eye on things. 1 second. Good morning, sir. Yes, sir. At which gate? Outside the front door? Okay. All right. I'll get Miss Stacy to let you in. Okay, there. Needed a workman to come check something for me. Let me message Miss Stacy. Okay. So yes. So anyway, yeah, so you this is your time now to do all of your necessary preparations, folks. You know, clearing out drainage, you know, getting your lawn work done, clearing out the shutters, not the shutters, the, what do you call them? The gutters around the house and all of that sort of stuff. Just get everything done. You got time. You got time to do it. All right. Let me see here now. Let me see. Marcia did 25. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I love it. Morning, Miss Mitzi. Miss Wanda, she's gonna be doing it with us. Amazing. All right, so by show of hands, do you guys want me to do the immigration discussion now, or shall we just leave it till tomorrow? Because I mean, we don't want the radio folks to miss out on this, because we're gonna kind of do a breakdown on it. So we can do it tomorrow, and then on Friday, because tomorrow's Thursday already. On Friday, we have the premier coming back, as well as the Minister of Education and Training, the Honorable Ralston England. So they're going to come back as well. So I'm thinking maybe we have the discussion tomorrow. Okay. Oh, I have Carla's video. I think I can export this. Export to device. Okay. Yeah, sometimes there's something funny with the file types. I just had to change it. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Hello, Miss Brenda. How are you?
Hey, I am good.
You're sounding less congested, that's for sure.
Yes, I'm feeling a lot better too.
Yeah, you can hear it.
Yeah, and you snuck off to Miami over the weekend.
No, Tampa. I went to Tampa.
But let's just say you went to you went to the ununited States.
Yeah, right. That should be the new name for it for sure.
Well, it is the name for it. They just didn't constitute it.
Yes.
Anyway, but I just want to say that I think you're going to not discuss immigration today, but I want to say this because it is regarding something that I had spoken about before, and maybe when you have whomever is coming on, and you can pull up the laws also, because I've said this many times about statuses, not being irrevocable, whether through cabinet or the board, and I can certainly say that through the board, they're definitely revocable.
Oh yes,
okay, and also through cabinet. And I'm going to say something now that might be upsetting to a lot because they might be recipients of it. But what I would like our people to understand, and I do not think it's too late to act on it. In 2003, when all of those statuses were granted, cabinet did not have the right or the authority or power to grant any of them. It should have been challenged. I don't know why.
It was challenged. I remember this well.
It was a verbal challenge, but
no. I was actually on the, as I say, boots on the ground back then quite a bit, and this was legally challenged. And in fact, This is why I tell people they can say whatever they want about Wayne Panton, but I respect him because he was a lawyer at Maples at the time, and he put up the money to bring in the KC or QC at that time and legally challenged it. So it was definitely challenged.
Okay, well, perhaps I missed that portion, but under the law, then I see this as something that should be taken up again, because certainly we know now that that was the beginning of the end for Cayman and Caymanians. And we have added to that now. We see the result of it. And then you have the overpopulation, which in my opinion, every problem that we are dealing with, it all goes back to the overpopulation. And we could break that down into many categories, you know, but we have to deal with this. And I hope, I sincerely hope that now that this new law has been tendered for consultation, that what happened to the labor law that the then Minister Roy Borden was trying to sort or to revise. I just hope the same thing that happened with that doesn't happen with this. So I'm going to urge our Caymanians, please do not be bashful. Take the time to read this thing. And I'm sure that everyone has a feeling or an opinion about it. Make your voices heard. They don't have to be in audio. Put pen to paper. If you're not understanding something, ask someone. Ask them. Or if you have access to a computer, an iPad, a tablet, a smartphone, go to Google. Just pull it up on the Cayman Islands laws. It's all there. And I think you have 30 days to respond to it. And just remember, one person cannot think of everything. So collectively, all of your ideas, which could be born from your experiences, could be very, very valuable to the minister and his government. Do not miss out on this opportunity, because you don't know what might happen in another 4 years. Just suppose you have another calamity like what took place in 2003. We can't handle this, people. We can't. Otherwise, we're going to be forced to either go under or go over. And I say go over as over the pond. So,
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Really, really hoping that you would have discussed it this morning.
Yes.
But anyway, I mean, it's still not too late to start the discussion. But let me just say this. You thought you got away. You snuck off over the weekend. And yeah, like a little thief in the night. You think I didn't see her, though. You think I didn't see her. Because you think that you're the only one that is in the know. But I just want to say, I can't believe you actually snuck off.
Yes.
And you didn't say, oh, well, is there anyone that needs anything?
I knew that what I was tasked to bring back, I couldn't be bringing back much for anybody. So very few people knew. But you know what happened is everything came together Friday morning. I told people I was going to post this up, and I'm still going to post it on Facebook. But I literally got up that morning. Well, I was thinking about it days before, but I was tracking a package, and I saw that it was supposed to be delivered on Saturday. So I said, get me on the plane this morning. And big shout out to the Cayman Airways staff, because Olivia really pulled it together for me, and I appreciate it so much. So it was literally that morning that the flight got booked, tickets got issued, and I was here doing the show and asking Miss Stacy to just throw a few things in the bag for Gigi and myself, because right after the show we were heading to the airport. That's how it went down. So it was a mad rush to get to the airport, and I made it in the nick of time.
Let me ask you, have they sorted out the online checking yet? Because that was an issue there the other day. Or you don't
I
use it?
didn't do it because they
Oh.
kind of did everything for me, to be honest, because again, it was such a mad rush. But yeah, I haven't used it since the previous trip. The only issues that I ever have with it, I mean, I'll ask the staff if it's working, but the only issues that I tend to have is there was some little quirk in the system where the agents, if they don't book Gianna correctly, then her date, she's born in 2016. Is that right? Yeah. Her date is not available. Like it stops at a certain date. So it's how they book it though when that happens. So sometimes I have to get them to correct it, but I'll double check to see if there's been any recent issues with it.
Yeah. Okay, but that's fine. But still, and I take it you're going to be going before Christmas.
Well, of course.
And is that going
You
to
know,
be
we all,
Tampa or Miami?
you know, I'm not sure yet because I'm really feeling Tampa in my bones these days.
Yeah,
So I have been, I keep saying, I keep a mailbox in Miami, so that's why I go to Miami a lot. But I think that the Tampa, yeah, I'm feeling Tampa. I'm enjoying Tampa when I go, and then we get to spend time with family there. So Gigi gets to see her cousins.
Anywhere outside of that Miami airport.
Oh my God! And that's the other thing. The Tampa airport is just amazing to get in and out of. It is so easy.
Yeah.
Oh, Miami is horrible.
The U.S. port, you know, you even not realize you're actually in the United States, you know? So
yeah,
let me tell you, I will go to Miami out of necessity. And I stress in capital letters, necessity.
Yeah. Yeah, I
because
feel
I
you.
want them to know this Brenda don't want to stay there.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm going to remind them what I told them a couple of years ago. I said to you and all of your colleagues, I'm extending an invitation to you to come and see where I live and how I live. And then you ask yourself if this is somewhere that I would want to stay. Well, he turned every color that he could possibly turn. He was flabbergasted. He did. And then when he recovered, he said, "Oh, when?" I said, "Whenever." I said, "No, on second thought, I just told you when I will be leaving. So please meet me in the departure lounge." Okay? That's an open invitation. So for many years, I didn't have a mouth in this stupidity.
Yeah, I don't know why they think that all people want to go and stay there, but they're not easy.
Please.
Yeah.
Please. I could think of many other lovely countries I would migrate to if I wanted to. And on United States, certainly was never on my list.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. All right, my dear. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And I too understand the concept of being a visitor.
Yes. Yeah. One of the things that we're going to talk about, Miss Brenda, that is very, very interesting is some of our Jamaican friends, you know, the Jamaican Observer, talking about immigration reform, covered the story about immigration reform. And I don't know why these people are all up in their feelings about it. I mean, I saw some of them start to comment, and I'm thinking to myself, why do y'all feel like they're upset? Like, well, who wants to go to Cayman? Who cares about Cayman? I'm like, what? I'm like, listen, my dear, let me tell you, face day. Oh yeah. I'm like, so why are y'all here? Nobody forcing you to come to Cayman, first of all.
Okay, let me see if I understand you correctly.
My
dear.
You
said the Jamaica Observer covered the story.
Yeah, so they wrote the story.
And these comments were in the Jamaica Observer? Or
they're on social media from Jamaicans, I guess, who are feeling a way about the fact that we are amending our immigration laws. And they're making really stupid comments like, who wants to go to the Cayman Islands? And what's so special about you guys? And remember, we used to rule you. And I'm like, oh my God, y'all need to learn history.
Well, you know what? They need to get over that.
Well, they need to learn history properly first.
I am going to say again, you never owned us. You never ruled us.
That's
right.
right.
Get off of that soapbox, please. Secondly, I can answer that question with one word: everybody. That's why they're here. That's why we're overpopulated. And I'm not saying
exactly.
that. Let me be clear now. I am not saying that to Jamaicans only. I say
Everybody.
not all
Yeah.
of them.
But they're
Okay?
the ones most in their feelings about this, and I don't understand why.
Well,
Why
I'm
don't we
going
have a
to,
right as a country to set
no,
our
why,
immigration laws?
I think your question is, why don't we have a right?
Yeah,
Anyway,
that's what I said. Why don't we? We do have that right, but why do they feel like we shouldn't?
yeah, but you see, that's what happens when you elect people who are not looking out for you, the people. Okay?
Yeah.
This is what has happened. This is the result of making a bad choice on election day. But since you brought this up, Sandra, I am going to share something that I don't know if you've seen it, that I read on Facebook. It's an article that CNS put out, and I read some of the comments. And I'm going to speak of two comments I read. There was a comment written by someone named Tune Locke.
What's the article?
It's something to do with, it's a picture with Minister Miles. And
okay.
The caption is something to do with, anyway, to do with this immigration bill.
Yes.
I can't remember the caption right now, but I'll have to go back and look at it. But CNS has it on their Facebook page. That's where I saw it. And so, like I said, I'm going to just speak of two of the comments. And this person, Tuna Locke, wrote and said that Caymanians, 3 out of 10 Caymanians are worthy, and this is not verbatim now. The 3 of 10 Caymanians are worthy of employment. And if you want to see
3 out of 10,
yeah, let me finish. And if you want to see the result of this, go anywhere and where Caymanians are working, and you will see the service you get. Blah blah blah.
Wow.
Now you know.
Oh my God. These people are crazy.
Now you know. I had to respond to him, and my reply to him was, "You are a fine example of why this law must change." And I told him straight out, his comments were lies and very offensive to us, the oppressed Caymanians. Okay? And I also asked him if he was familiar with, quote unquote, when in Rome, it was Romans do. And then the other comment that I want to speak of, it was much longer, but just from my memory capturing, it was written by a Jamaican national, working here, and I think the person is Melanie, the son, or something like that.
Well, they've been making up names on CNS because they don't have to put their real name.
But I'm just saying, you know, if anyone wanted to actually look at the comments.
Yeah.
But, you know, surprisingly, this person said that, in other words, Cayman has the right to do this, like anybody does. They're working here, and they don't intend to live here. They came here as a choice, of course, you know, hoping to do better, but are here being exploited into this by their own Jamaicans. And went on to say that the worst are those, they say Jamaican Caymanians. I guess they mean those with status now.
Right. Because they're the ones taking advantage of them with work permits and stuff.
Of course, we know that. And like I said, it was a lengthy comment. However, it was not negative. And I said, see that? That's where you can't fry everybody in the same
yeah.
Okay? So this person, who is a Jamaican national here in Cayman, is speaking of two things. The fact that they understand we have the right, just like any other country.
Yes.
That have that right. We, Cayman, have that right.
Yeah.
Let us remember that. Hashtag, we have the right.
Exactly.
And then they went on to speak of whom is in Cayman and I guess they meant taking advantage of Jamaicans, who the ones are, or the worst ones that are doing it. And they went on to say the way they're treated, the way they're spoken to, and then they say to them that, oh, you don't know what I had to go through to get this. So in other words, they are now filling the pot of black tar on their employees because in their opinion, what they had to go through to get it. Well, let me respond to that. I did respond to that person's comment, and simply just to say that I hope the Tuna Lock had read that. Anyway, but let me just say to all of that, my opinion of that, anybody that feels or thinks that they had such a hard time get a status here in Cayman and you are here, then you know what? If that's the way you feel, please go to immigration and turn it in. You're free to go home. If you need help packing, we'll assist. If you need a ticket, we'll assist. But please, we don't need any more of you. And I say this to all nationalities, not just one. We are sick and tired of you in our country resenting us, disrespecting us, and thinking you have the right here. Hashtag, you do not. While we may be the minority, okay? There is still strength in numbers. And let me share, and for those of you who don't know your history, who don't choose to know history, you look at the size of England, but yet they used to own almost all of the world. Ask yourselves how you think they were able to do it. And the good old United States of America was once owned and colonized by the British. Okay? Right. So I said that to say, if they could do it, why can't we? And it's a simple method to it. Let us unite. Stop living like crabs in a barrel. Let us unite.
Yeah, no, we have to be, you know, we'll talk about the proposals, and I mean, you know, there will be unintended consequences without a doubt, one way or the other. So we do need to talk about a lot of these things. But what I would say is we need to be of one voice in terms of this is our birthright to be able to set whatever immigration policy we feel that we should. That's somebody else's business. I mean, they come here as guest workers. And as people know, I'm an advocate for treating people right. But that does not mean me treating them right does not mean that they're going to come here and walk all over us and tell us what we can do from what we can't do. That's not how that work.
I think I've said this on your show many times. Anyone that works for me, whether it's my gardeners, domestic, whatever, I treat everyone the same way I want to be treated. However, I do know the difference between employer and employee, because once you cross that line, there's no turning back. And having said that, I treat everyone the way they should be treated, with respect and with manners, the way I was raised. I don't send people outside to eat. I don't send people on my front porch or back porch or in my yard to eat. They are welcome to eat at my counter. If they don't want to, that's entirely up to them. They have several options here at my house, but they don't have to.
Yeah.
I never said, oh, you can't eat there. You know, I offer them water. I check to make sure they have lunch. I say, take your lunch break. Your lunch break is an hour. You don't have to continuously work through your lunch break, because even if the law didn't say, that would only be the human thing to do. So I say again, Emmanuel, I think this might be a golden opportunity for all of us. Do not let this one slip past. You may never get it again. And you do not want to stay silent on it. And those that have a say on it overpower your feelings. And then the matter's closed and you can then say nothing or do nothing about it. And then you sit down and you're going to grumble and you're going to blame Minister Miles and you're going to blame the sitting government because you didn't do your part. We now have an opportunity and an invitation to do our part. We voted. We want to change. We asked for these things. We've been asking for these things. So let us do our part. And anybody, I would also say that anybody that has knowledge of those who are here abusing our laws, support it, please. Support it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All righty.
Okay. So listen, folks, it's hard for some people to understand. I'm not sure why. And I see some of y'all getting in your feelings. And that's a you problem. That's not a me problem. That is definitely a you problem. And, you know, I saw the comments and I tell you what, I was certainly taken aback by them from the perspective that I'm like, why are you all upset? What's the big deal? You're all upset because Cayman is going to regulate their own immigration, which clearly is being abused by a lot of people. So what is it? You throw a rock in a hot, what do you call it, hog pen? And the people who squeal the most, well, I don't know. Y'all need to explain to me why Jamaicans seem the most aggrieved about what immigration is doing with their own immigration laws. They were up in their feelings bad about this. I'm trying to find the story. I think somebody sent me a link to it this morning, but I commented a few times on it. Marlon was like, girl, just come off of that Facebook. But I was like, I don't know. I don't know why Jamaicans are up in their feelings about this, because this really had me confused. Good morning, caller. Hello. Oh, we're still on air, So yes, I'm like, listen, y'all need to go chill, go relax. If you're not a Caymanian, this really, it will impact you. Yes, that is true. And I suppose you can, if you wish to give somebody your opinion, but the opinions that matter the most is going to be that of the Caymanians. Now, having said that, I'm also a firm believer in the fact that we need to have some balance to any immigration law that we implement, because unfortunately for us, we are a community that has relied heavily on foreign workers, and you can't stop that overnight. That's why when people are like, cancel all work permits, I'm just like, that's stupid. That's not a reality. It's not going to happen. Cayman does not have the population to sustain all of the industries and stuff that we have here now. That's the reality of it, right? But there has to be a balance, and we have to understand that Caymanians come first. Whatever equation we come up with, Caymanians ultimately have to be the ones on the winning side of this. Okay? And that really is what we have to be all about. So I'm trying to find the article. I'll include it. Oh yes, here it is. It was published on the 20th, so I had to scroll down a little bit, but it had 543 comments, a lot of comments. And so I even saw Cindy there commenting. This person, I replied to this person. This person, Sandra Hilton, said, I visited Grand Cayman and can't see why they're extending the time. Also attended Teachers College in Jamaica, with many fellow students being from the Cayman Islands. So what's so special about the Cayman Islands? I don't know when Sandra Hilton attended this this Teachers College, because I'm curious, because this can be anytime in the last 40 years. So I'm going to actually ask her that, because sometimes you got to put people in context. She might be talking about 50 years ago when our teachers did go there for Teachers College, but I can tell you what, a lot has changed in that amount of time. So that doesn't really happen anymore. So even that comment, I was like, huh? So yeah, she doesn't understand what's so special about the Cayman Islands. So I said to her, ask your own people who come here why it's such a great place. Why are you asking us what's so special? We're not telling you it's special. You know, ask your own people why it's special. A Jamaican lady named Grace Atkinson says Sandra Hill never said it better. You're asking us what's so special. We didn't say we were special. You all and people from 130 something, at least probably gone up to 160 nationalities now that are here. You all are the ones who say that this place is an amazing place and special. So yeah, ask yourselves that question. Why is it that over 50% of our population are Jamaican nationals? Something y'all must be liking here. Okay. And, the sensible Jamaicans who are here, I don't want to clump them into the same category as a fool like Sandra Hilton, who doesn't really appear to know anything about the Cayman Islands, because everyone knows, everyone knows why people come here. There's lots of amazing reasons. Yes, there's financial reasons. But don't insult us talking about what's so special about Cayman. If you don't know, good for you. Stay over in your little corner because we don't want you here if you don't know. Good morning, caller. That's one less that we got to worry about.
Good morning, Sandra. It's very, very interesting that certain Jamaicans, not all of them, seem to be worried about it.
We have to put this in context, right? I mean, it was 500 and something comments. One person who said, and I'm assuming this person they live in London and they seem to be an attorney at law, barrister's professional course, but they say, Sandra, now Sandra Hilton, you're so disgusting and rude. What's special is their currency and the likelihood of one becoming a British resident/citizen. The difference is, like you said, Caymanians are in Jamaica only as students. I don't see why they would want to remain in your country otherwise. They pay to be there temporarily and to support your economy as well as via the educational sector. Meanwhile, Jamaicans oftentimes migrate, and this person puts illegally, to other countries without adding much. And this is a Jamaican saying this. God bless the ones who actually do. Currency and quality of life is what makes Cayman so special. Think about everything that you do not have, which is the most meaningful things. So, there were people who saw the nonsense in her comment as well. So, but to think that there are people who are so incredibly ignorant still is shocking.
Yeah, it's shocking. And you see, this is the thing about access to social media. Any little stupid comment by one person, they can put it out there, and we are all sometimes forced to read it, because there's no sifting mechanism. I mean, put it this way. If it didn't matter what was being done in Cayman regarding immigration, why are they commenting on it at all? Okay? You should be sitting at home and say, okay, in Cayman, they want to change the immigration system. Oh, okay, that's interesting. And then you move on to other things.
Exactly. That's our business.
When you keep...
When Jamaica decides to get rid of Haitians or do whatever it is that they do with their immigration system, you don't see Caymanians here having no big debate about it. That's their country. They can do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah, so I mean, it's totally ridiculous. But it's always necessary when somebody does that to assert the right to do, like you're doing, like the caller was doing, to say, hey, look, leave us to do our own things, because that assertiveness also is important, so that those people who might be tempted to say those things, they should know that they will get some pushback. Now, about immigration, the new immigration bill, there are very few pieces of legislation I've read which are as complicated as that. Now,
and that is a problem historically.
Historically, it is.
Yeah.
Now, I think technically they have done what they want to do. There are certain things which are just complex by their nature, so you can't make them simpler than that. But I think what they could have done a little bit better is to write a memorandum that explains a little better. You see, that's why, in my view, procedurally, I don't think they are doing it correctly. You see, this is the most important piece of legislation probably on immigration since the Cayman Protection Law and probably since the 2004 immigration law. And I would have really thought that they would want a period of consultation that is not like the usual 28 days. I would have thought that instead of asking for emails, they would have said, okay, we are going to do a green paper. I don't want to get too technical. If they would do a green paper, which is called a proposal paper, to say, this is what we are proposing, put it in everyday language. This is what exists. This is what we want to change, and this is why we want to change it. And then if they did that, then take it to town halls, and then after that, they can amend it further and publish a white paper later on. I think that would have been the best way to do it rather than just, this period of time. They've also left certain things, I think, Sandra, to be done in regulations. Now, there are always certain things you have to leave, as you know, to be done in regulations because they are matters of detail. But I think there are a lot of issues of principle which they want to do in legislation, in regulations, which they should really be putting here. Now, let me talk about the exemptions, right? They have created, of course, they want rollover in government now, but they have created so many exemptions. They have told us that in government, the majority, or at least the big numbers, come from the police, the teachers, and the health services authority, and related. And they say they are going to exempt those. So if you exempt those, you are really undermining your policy. I mean, the whole rollover in government is not likely to work very well. And then what I find interesting is they have also exempted magistrates and judges, as well as people who work for the Management Commission in Parliament. Now, and those two I don't understand, because they are doing the opposite of what they should be doing. One of the most important things that people have always mentioned about the judiciary is that if they could have a little more Caymanians there, perhaps they could get better treatment. Because we know that even some lawyers who practice in criminal law have said they go to court. I want to mention the lawyer. There was a particular lawyer who went on radio and actually said that he went to court. His client was charged with careless driving. And they adjourned the matter to be tried at another date, but meanwhile, they suspended his driver's license. The same morning, a British lawyer with a British client had a similar case. They adjourned it to the following year. It was over Christmas, but they allowed that person to keep their license. Two things in one morning. And I think, to me, what you want to do, you want, particularly in the judiciary, you want to roll over so that those positions are not blocked off for Caymanians. Remember when you say that rollover doesn't apply to the judiciary, you mean those people, an expert can come here today and they can stay as long as possible and get status, and Caymanians will be pushed out. So I don't know why that happened. I mean, they tried to say, well, but you see, independence of judiciary. No. I think somebody has eaten their lunch again. Now, the other thing the other thing they haven't done is this. In the substance, they have not put a cap on grants. One of your frequent callers has said, look, why don't you ensure that the status grants don't exceed the net birth rate among Caymanians as of right? They haven't addressed that. There have been some people who have suggested that status should be limited to marriage and descent, and then just a limited group beyond that. That hasn't been addressed. Bernie Bush, you remember, he moved a motion in the last government that over and above people who get status by marriage and by descent, the number should be not more than 30, like those who go beyond that. And members of this government agreed to that motion. But what has happened to it? It hasn't happened. So eventually, if I can conclude it by just merely saying, all these things they are trying to do to increase from 15 years to 22 years, I don't think they'll have any effect. A Jamaican will stay as long as they need to stay, so long as they are making money to get status. They have not tried to amend the public service management law so that they can give real advantage to Caymanians. They have not tried to amend the immigration law so that regulation, so that a succession plan is necessary for a work permit, because at the moment it is discretionary. They have not projected to say how much is this going to achieve. I mean, it might sound nice and tough, but you may actually achieve little or nothing in terms of reducing status grants. They have also not addressed this issue about whether it should apply to people who are already here. So that if you've been here for 1 year, in Cayman for 1 year.
Well, we're going to get into, Mr. Baliki, I'm going to pause you there because tomorrow we're going to do
I'm almost done anyway,
we're going to do a full dissecting of it and what's proposed. I think your comments on tomorrow's show would be very, very helpful because we're going to try to put some notes together and hand the government, really. You know?
Well, I would really love to continue this discussion tomorrow. Another opportunity. But anyway, those are my initial changes. I don't think it's done enough, and they should consult a little bit better. But we'll see whether they decide to postpone it or whether they decide to enact it and then come back to it again in a few months. We'll see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, thanks for the opportunity as usual.
Lots of points, absolutely. Lots of points that we need to definitely.
Okay, we'll talk soon.
Unintended consequences, as I always say. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So tomorrow, I was actually going to talk about the Ombudsman's office. We see that she's actually suing the governor. But let's kick off tomorrow with the immigration discussion because Friday will be pretty much all of government. So let's do the immigration discussion tomorrow. The second part of the government segment on Friday, they will be coming on to talk about immigration. So we'll have a further discussion there as well. But let's kick it off by tomorrow and let's see what we can do and how far we can get with it on tomorrow's discussion. So the idea here, like I said, I've done my research. It's a 58-page document. And basically, this is a condensed version that's probably, I don't know if it's less than that, but it is less than that. And so we have a deep analysis here of the Immigration Transition Amendment and Validation Bill Act 2025. So this is the most significant overhaul of the immigration law in decades. And it's fundamentally shaping the pathways to residency and Caymanian status. And so I think everyone needs to pay attention to this. And I've got my notations all typed up and ready to go, honey Jill, in my hands. So we are going to look at the major proposals, the changes, litigation, tsunamis, enforcement challenges, all of this stuff, because I've actually done an analysis of not just what the changes are, but how will this potentially impact the Caymanian community, work permit holders, employers, everybody. So tune in to tomorrow's show. We'll kick that off immediately. And then we will, get your thoughts and comments. And of course, I want to ensure that, we can give that feedback then to the government is what we will do. Because unfortunately, a lot of you will not sit down and do your part in terms of even just the consultation. And I am a little bit worried about that because you should participate. But one way that people definitely participate is through talk radio. And I get it. I understand it. Still 300 people here listening to me at 10:45 in the morning. So I understand. So tomorrow, again, I am going to ask my web guy here to put this together for me. But yes, tomorrow we will hit this immigration topic. Okay. Let me just message him now. Okay. All right. Very good. And tomorrow we've got the chamber luncheon, so I can't do a whole lot of overtime, but a little bit because the chamber luncheon starts. And I actually wanted to go get my hair done for the luncheon because I like to look good, get some curls put in it and stuff. Get my Jamaican lady to fix it up for me like nobody else can. She does a little style that, oh my God, nobody can fix. I love that style. She does it with curls and she kind of does this little shaky thing and it just looks amazing. And no one else has ever been able to do my hair like her. She's just, it's a different thing. She does a good job. All right. People actually think I have a wig whenever she does my hair. They're like, oh, is that a wig you're wearing? I'm like, no, that's my Jamaican connection. All right. Ms. Marjorie says that man is sour grapes. He cannot come back here. So he's trying to get out government to change our laws to make it so he can come back. I don't think that's what's happening. At all, Marjorie. I think that he actually has lived in Cayman. And the one thing that he is very, very aware of is he is knowledgeable what happens in the judiciary, and he is very knowledgeable about laws because he actually worked in the drafting department where they write laws. So I think that that is why he has a lot to say on the topic. It doesn't have anything to do with him. I mean, I don't know what he's doing in Canada, but it doesn't have anything to do with him wanting to come back to Cayman and thinks that they can bring him back here. I mean, I don't think I think you're way off on that one, Miss Marjorie. So, Damien talking about caps on nationalities. I think they've tried that before. And the unintended consequence of that was that you started to bring in people from other countries and then y'all started to complain about those people. All right, let me actually try to get some numbers by nationality. Let me reach out to immigration because as we have this discussion tomorrow, having some real-time stats would be very, very helpful to us as well. So let me see what I can do. And then everybody tune in early and let's have our chat right at 7:30. We will get started. So subject to any weather updates, the only thing that we will discuss tomorrow is we got to do squats again. Is it that time again? Lord have mercy. All right, let's do 25 more before we call it a day. And then I'm going to get up and get moving. So once I'm moving, we are good to go. Denny's calling. You calling to be on the show, Denny? You ready to do some squats?
Say that again.
We're doing our squats. Everybody get up. Start moving around a little bit.
I can't. You're breaking up so bad I can't hear you.
Well, I can hear you.
I can hear you now. What did you say?
I said, are you ready to do some squats? It's that time again. All right, everybody, get up. Shake your booty. Shake it out. Shake it out. Let's do some squats while Denny is talking to us. Go ahead, Denny.
Oh my Lord! I wasn't calling for anything to do with this show. I thought you were off.
Oh no! Well, let's get up and do some squats with us then.
Well,
we're gonna have the immigration conversation tomorrow. But ready? We're gonna start.
No, I was gonna ask you something completely different. But we'll have to talk about that another time.
Okay.
Yeah. But let's see. What could I talk about? Hey, the governor's being sued.
we got to touch on that.
When are you putting out a story?
I think it might be up already.
Okay, I didn't see it.
I'll have to check with Renee, but yeah, she was working on it.
What's the exercise program about?
So you're gonna make me forget where I'm at counting. So somebody count for me. That's 11, 12. So every hour that we're sitting down during the show, we're gonna get up and do 25 to 50 squats.
Well, I'm tired just thinking about that.
So this is our third set for the day for the show already, and I did 25 before I came in the studio.
That's an awesome idea, though.
So yeah, we're how many? Oh my God, I'm losing count. I think I'm about 15.
15? No, I think you're at 20.
Probably because I've lost count. I'll just assume 15 and give myself a few extra. So everybody's gonna get up and do what they can do. Not everybody can do the full. I'm at 20, says somebody. Okay.
So this is squats. Now, are you gonna be doing any other types of exercises?
We're starting with this just because the quads are the single most important muscle for longevity. That and your hand grip.
Yeah.
So I think I've done 25. So we're starting with this. But remember when I used to do my little cycling, but then there were some logistics about me talking on air and stuff. So I actually have ordered a slim treadmill that I can put in the studio and do some walking while I am in the studio. So and then I can do my wireless mic. So we got some things set up for it.
Well, what are you going to do to strengthen
your somebody grip? Just did 30. Nice job. Marjorie did 6 more. She did 20. She says she's got an artificial knee, so it slowed it down. And she did 6 more. Good for you. Miss Alma did 20. Very good. I'm so proud of you guys. Paul says everybody's going to be slim for Christmas. Just in time. Oh my goodness. So sorry, what was the question?
So now, what are you going to do to strengthen your grip?
I don't know yet. One step at a time.
Well, they sell those devices.
The grip things, yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe
I want to start doing Tai Chi as well. I really want to do Tai Chi.
Ask El Ray's advice.
Mercy's did 56. Wow, that's good. Yeah, do some stretching after. Do some calf stretches and stuff. Ask Elroy. Who's Elroy?
El Ray.
Oh, El Ray. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Oh, somebody said I actually did 30. They were counting.
Okay, so after you go through all of this work now and look slim and trim for Christmas, just remember that if you stick to protein for Christmas, you'll stay slim all through Christmas.
Well, I love me turkey. That counts, right?
Yes, that is protein. But you can eat some green leafy vegetables along with it as well.
Well, child, Christmas is we're gonna be all out for Christmas. It's just the one meal.
No, you can change your lifestyle.
Not on Christmas Day. Christmas will be the one day that I indulge. But what I will do is go for a walk afterwards, because they say do a little 15-minute walk after your meals, and that helps too.
Okay, well that's awesome. The walking is good, but at some point in time you need to get in some strength training to really build the muscle.
Yes, absolutely. That's what we got. That's what we have Carla for. So I'm going to actually show Carla's video here in a second. But
yeah, well, when is she? Wasn't she going to be doing a program on your?
Yes, she's got 5-6 episodes already done. We've just had a slight delay with our CMR TV technical stuff, website build out, all that good stuff. So we are going to get all of that done. We're aiming for the first week now of November, because I'm just reviewing the website, and then all that's going to go live. So yeah.
Okay.
We're getting there. And in the meantime, the creators are doing what they need to do on the back end in terms of creating their content.
Okay. Well,
but her show is going to be, oh my God, her show is going to be amazing.
So the more muscle you build, the more energy it takes to fuel those muscles, which means you burn off your fat and reserves faster. So you'll stay slim if you stick to it. Anyhow, enjoy.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Bye.
All right, folks. So if you've been doing the squats with us, you probably already have at least 75 to 100 in or more, depending on how many you were doing each time. So look at us. We are well on our way. Good stuff. Yep, we're going to break it up. And yeah, we'll get there. All right. Yeah, somebody says, yes, please delay the immigration discussion until tomorrow so we can ask the Premier and MP Anglin a few questions the next day. Okay, no problem. We will do that. All right, good folks. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate all of the positive feedback. And yeah, we'll get to it here in just a second. All right. So I've got my notes, and I do want to go back and I think dig up a little bit more information. Ms. Brenda, I was actually digging up some details of the legal challenge for you as well. And I can tell you that there were several legal and constitutional challenges that were mounted against the validity of the 2003 status grants. And like I said, I remember this because I was in this is how PPM got started, because of this hot mess. I was there in the founding days, and I was one of the ones that was willing to sign my name to the document. And I can't remember who ended up doing it in the end, because persons have to sue. You know, when you bring in legal actions, actual persons have to put their name on it. But I do recall quite strongly that it was funded pretty much entirely by honorable former premier of this country. And he was a lawyer, a partner at the time at Walker's, Wayne Panton. So even before he entered politics, he was fighting for, you know, a lot of rights. And so he challenged it. But I can't remember if he put his name on it. Let me try to get those details for you. But So yes, so the legal challenge, constitutional challenge, centered around claims that due process was not followed and that cabinet did not have proper authority to grant such status en masse. The courts, including the Grand Court, ultimately upheld the legality of the grants. There you go. And subsequent appeals to the higher courts all the way up to the UK Privy Council were unsuccessful. The judicial reasoning was that cabinet did have statutory authority to confer Cayman status and that existing law gave broad discretion for such grants. The outcome was that all individuals granted status in 2003 maintained their Caymanian rights, and attempts to overturn the grants or strip status retroactively did not succeed. However, as I recall, what then happened is subsequent governments, this is right, this is one thing the progressives got right, subsequent governments significantly restricted cabinet's power to grant status, and reforms now require far more transparent and rigorous procedures, and new legislation aims to prevent another such episode. That is why now they can only do 4 grants as opposed to thousands. They can only do 4 per annum. And that's why since then, even those 4 per annum is subject to, review by the public and coverage and all that sort of thing. That's why last year we were very, very surprised when we did cover it. Why that gentleman there, forget his name now, Rowan or whatever his name is, why he felt a particular way about it, because he shouldn't have. We're like, dude, this is what we do. So they should all be open to scrutiny. We've even scrutinized the ones with Miss what's her name? Oh Lord. The lady, Tortuga lady, which her dad wasn't really on the up and up with that one either. No, the progressives were formed in 2003. That's why they just celebrated their 20th anniversary just the other day. 20 years already? Does that sound about right? 2023? That's 20 years, right? Yeah. So that's why they just celebrated their 20th anniversary in 2023, because they were formed in 2003. Oh, I remember it well. The catalyst for them forming was really what the government did right before this, and that was the granting of, not the granting of the status, but the fact that they kicked out Kurt Tibbetts as leader of government business. So that was the first bit. And then McKeever took over the government. And we were like, hold on, this man is just, what the hell is he doing? He's been at it for a hot minute. Y'all sit there supporting this man. I'm so glad he's finally out of politics. Oh my God. He has done some real shit over the years. But anywho, yes, honey child, that and then some. Ooh, I see some nice yoga pants on Amazon. The 20% off today, Miss Brenda. Coming all kind of colors. Ooh, I love the tan color. They've got peach. This color's cute. Oh, girl, you made me go on Amazon to see what was going on this morning. Anywho, so that's where we're at. They got a lot of colors. Oh gosh, so many colors. Ooh, I love this kind of green. It's like they have 2 greens. One is like a darker green, and then one is a bit of a lighter aqua color. Oh, very nice. These are my new workout pants. Ooh, then they've got like a dark forest green. I think I'm going to get one dark forest green. Add that to my cart. Yes, sir. Oh, they've got stripes too? Oh. Ooh, I like the brown khaki stripes. I like that one. Different. Okay. By the way, as much as I shop on Amazon, which is too much, according to Marlon, way too much, I am quite perturbed that I never saw that there were little check marks there that I can check off what I want and what I don't want. My girlfriend called me there. She's like, have you ever noticed these check marks? Because somebody told her about it. And I was like, no, I never noticed no check marks. So let me show you. just in case you haven't noticed it. All this time I'm looking at my cart and I have never seen these check marks, and they're on the phone app too. Oh, honey child, what a mess. Hello.
Hello again. Listen, since you're offering to buy me yoga pants, listen carefully. Size small, no brown, no gray, no green.
You are actually very petite, Miss Brenda. When I saw you in person some time ago at Foster's, I was surprised because your voice and your body size don't really match up. You've got a big voice and a little body. So
you know what they say? You know what they say? Little but Kalawa.
Yes. When I saw Miss Brenda, I'm like, that's Miss Brenda? I'm like, that voice not matching?
And you know what? As they say, I am woman. Hear me roar.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell you something else that a lot of people don't know either. Don't poke a sleeping tiger. Okay?
That's true.
Right, so let's get back to my Amazon order here now. Like I said, size small.
You got to know what inseam you need though, because these go by the inseam as well.
No, hold on. Hold on. Size small, but if it has the option extra small, that means they run big. So then I have to get extra small. And I am not wearing them for sex appeal. I wear them for comfort. So I don't care where the damn inseam lies. And even though they say capri, they come down to my ankle, which I don't have a problem with either. But I do order them. I like them, and they're sweat because I do a lot of visits to the hospital, and they're always like morgues, so I have to stay warm.
Oh yes,
that's what I've taken up now to wearing to the hospital, and then for comfort afterwards, I put on these little pants, the little t-shirt, and however it looks is how it looks. I'm not wearing it to go out to catch a man or to look sexy. I'm sexy in whatever I wear, by the way. So whomever wants to look at the silhouette under the pants, then take a good look.
Oh my God.
That's all I have to say. Yeah, see? That you didn't know what I'm doing.
Oh my God. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
About me. Anyway, but on a serious note, Sandra, and for your listeners, please understand, I'm not begging Sandra for anything. We're just having a little joke.
Yes, exactly.
I don't beg. Believe me, I'll be hungry and no one would know because I'm not going to beg.
Well, if it's food you ever need, let me know, honey child. I got some lasagna right now. I take it by the radio station to give away.
I don't eat pasta.
Because I can't. Yeah, I'm trying to cut back myself.
And I don't eat red meat. Okay. So, as far as losing weight and exercising and so on, I'm going to say this, but then I'm going to come back to what I was going to say before. People exercise, they say they diet and so on, and they're not seeing the result. I don't think that a lot of people realize is that it is first of all, you have to do low carb and high protein. But you have to, and you also have to have the fruit and your veggies. But what is very important there is when you eat them and the combinations that you have. And yes, and let me just say this, I was an athlete and then I used to run. Then I had an accident that I suffered many injuries, damages, so on, surgeries and so on. And then I wasn't able to run anymore. I never liked walking unless I was walking with a group. So, of course, at the time, I wasn't, or I didn't think of it that I could not continue the same diet I was on as a runner. So, of course, I was, gaining weight and stuff. And so one day it suddenly dawned on me, you can't eat this anymore because you're not able to burn it off. And then I just decided it was going to be one carb for the day. I was going to decide what that carb would be. And So I always eat fruit in the morning. And after my fruit is when I have my carbs. Then I have my protein with my veg. You never eat fruit after you have eaten something. Fruit has to be eaten on an empty stomach because it helps the stomach juices to then break down anything else that you may eat. That's why you'll hear people say, oh, I can't eat that. That gives me gas or indigestion. It's because they have eaten it at the wrong time. Because when you eat fruit, after you have eaten anything, the fruit then cannot do its job, stays in the stomach, and it ferments. So that's where you get bloated or gassy. And it is important to consume the required amount of water. Water, yes, because water cleanses the body of the toxins. Water burns fat, believe it or not. So along with the protein, because protein is very dominant in the body, and what it will do, because it needs a space. So as long as you have the required amount of protein, the muscles are going to grow, and then the muscles will push the fat out. So, and it's but as I say, that is important. If you feel, as the people say, peckish later on, have a cup of tea, maybe 2 little crackers, and what I do, to be honest, is, because I don't eat past 6 o'clock, but if I do feel a bit peckish after that, and this is to anyone, only have protein. Don't have anything else with it. Just have some more protein. So, and you'd be amazed at how quickly your body will adjust to that. And then after that, you will not be able to eat all the carbs, just going to be too sluggish and so on. And with that diet, believe it or not, or with that way of eating, because it's not a diet, you will be amazed at how much weight your body will lose and maintain. So,
it's true. Thank you, my dear. I appreciate it.
So I'm just saying that to you. So in addition to your little squat, but let me just add, but you still have to do something physical because cardio and the circulation, that is very important.
Yeah.
Even if it's just for 15 minutes a day, you have to do that. But as I said, for all those who want to lose weight, this is a good time to start that. And over Christmas time, guess what? You can still pig out because by that time, your body will not be able to consume all of the starches, carbs that you used to eat. And just to say that if you cannot burn carbs, the body breaks it down into sugar and then it becomes fat.
Yep. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh, all right. I'll send you the invoice.
Yes, ma'am. So I can confirm as well, Denny, that the article with Sharon Ralston suing the governor is up on the website. In fact, it was published. It's not even the top story anymore because there's another story that is taking over about CBC. No, not CBC. Search underway for missing fishing vessel. So that's the lead story right now. But I'll put the link here. Join the channel because you would have gotten the link. Shmiriti, check your WhatsApp message, your Facebook messages. Facebook might have put it in junk mail folder, but I've just sent you the phone number for the person who has your phone so that you can get your phone back. Okay. So just quickly, these little check marks, what I normally do is I would move something out of, because I have all kind of stuff in my cart and sometimes I never even purchase it, right? But I didn't realize there was little check marks here because I kept moving it to save later. And then that's another area. Apparently, if stuff is in your cart and you're only wanting to purchase like one item, you tick just that one item off. I never saw this. Thanks, Mel, for this little tip. And it's both on the website and the app. So yeah, so now you see these pants. Oh, this color is not on sale. I wonder if I should wait. I want to get them with a 20% off. So all the other colors are on sale, but that brown, and that brown is kind of nice. You can actually, you could really wear this with something else and dress this up, But but that one is regular price. So maybe we won't purchase that one now. We'll see if it goes on sale. But yes, I can't show you my whole cart because there's a gift item in here. Somebody don't tell anybody who might be on my gift list. Let me scroll past it real fast. There's a gift item there. I'm getting these things for flies. These are so annoying when you have flies on your table, like when you're entertaining outside and the flies come trying to get to the food. So I am going to order some of these. They like spin around and they're all natural, but they keep flies away for like your barbecue, your picnics. So I want to try those. I think they actually work really well. I need to go check and see what kind of ratings they got. And then these mesh covers for outdoor. This is a whole set, 18.5 inch mesh food tents. And this is a 6-piece, the dome covers. So I think I'm going to get this. I kind of like this as well. And they come like in different colors and stuff. So you can cover up your food because boy, them old flies, they're so disgusting. You see? Can't stand them. But I like this one that's like wider for like bigger plates of food. So I've been keeping my eye on this. It's actually on sale right now. This is a 6-pack and different colors. And then, yeah, you can cover up your food on the counter because boy, them flies, they disgusting. Ugh, keeps your plants safe from rodents. Oh, plants. You put this on plants. Okay. Anyway, so that's in my cart as well as now the yoga pants. And this comes in all black and then the colors. I think I'm going to get some of the colors. Spruce up the kitchen a little bit. Oh, but I like this one that's the larger size. This is a set with the larger ones. Is that on sale? No. Oh, not on sale yet. That's too bad. Too bad. Ooh, this one is on sale, but then this is a 8-piece. No, but that's a smaller. No. I want one that's just the large ones, I think. Anyway, those are some of the things I'm watching. Keeping my eyes on some lights as well, because we got to redo Gigi's bathroom soon. She's requested a bathroom redo. So I figure when she's 10, that will be her 10-year treat, that she gets a more adult bathroom. We'll take out the tub and all that kind of stuff for her because she's not going to be a baby anymore. Oh, she doesn't want a tub anymore. So yeah, that's my little Amazon trick of the week, that little tick sign. You can keep an eye on it. These bread containers are great if you guys, store your bread. Oh, Lord, Marlon's calling me. He's going to be like, get off of Amazon. Watch, let's see. Hello? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But we're still watching. Mm-hmm. Why you need him? Mm-hmm. 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 When did he say that? No. All right, let me call you back. I'm still on the air. I'll call you back. Yes. Goodbye. That was a much longer long conversation. Okay. So yes, we're gonna go ahead and end the show now. All right. So I know. I just saw Bill come in from Keyman Physio. I'm gonna come by and pay that. Let me see here now. Okay. All right. So yes, and talk about squats, like Denny said, there are things that you can add, like a barbell and other stuff, dumbbells, whatever. But we're not there yet. We're gonna just do this consistently for a little bit, and then we'll take it from there. They'll all get reduced over Thanksgiving. I was wondering, is there not an Amazon sale day or something coming up? But child, to be putting stuff on sale that I don't even want. But yes, so still put it in the cart. Yes, I love how they do notify you, because I was actually looking at that earlier. A bunch of stuff I had in my cart and my save later area. They'll tell you when there's a price jump and a price reduction. And parents, I want to make a recommendation for your kiddos. Currently unavailable. Actually, I need to delete that because I have that item already. And I got that item already. I need to delete some stuff from my. Okay, so look, kids, they no longer have encyclopedias and all this kind of stuff, but you can still get them the thesauruses, the dictionaries, like the hand ones, so that they can flip through the book and look up words. So I'm encouraging my daughter to use those tools, because they're like, oh, let's ask Chat GPT. No, you don't know nothing about no Chat GPT, and Chat GPT is not your friend. So you can order these hard books. They come in hardcover, as well as you can get the non-hardcover. But this one, they have the primary school thesaurus, the primary school dictionary. They're a good price. So I've ordered that for her. I've ordered the science one with science terms, and I've ordered the math one with math terms and stuff as well. So those are a good buy, parents, to encourage your children to still pick up a physical book to look things up. So those are awesome. What else is there? Oh, there's a cursive book here that I might look into. Learning to write in cursive is a whole, my dear, these are lost arts now. Cursive copybook set plus theory. Oh, that's beautiful handwriting. I've always wanted to learn how to do calligraphy. Is it too late for me to do that? I want to learn how to do proper calligraphy, penmanship. I love a beautiful handwriting, honey. Chill. I had an uncle, the one that I lived with in Tampa. He had the most gorgeous handwriting. I still have letters from him that he wrote me, he'd write me little letters, encouraging letters, whatever. And I still have one or two somewhere about with my Bible tucked away. And his handwriting was just so beautiful. I always wanted to write like him, Uncle Willie. The best grammar book. Workbook, punctuation and word uses for ages 10 through 110. Oh, this is the adult version. Okay. All right. That's all she wrote. Tomorrow, immigration. Yes, Ms. Brenda said Oxford is the best. I still have my hardcovers. Yep. I mean, they still have them for school. They have them for primary level, which would be her. And then they have them for the high schoolers as well. Thank you, Shaka, reminding us that Black Friday is right around the corner. Indeed. Tomorrow is a busy day for me. I mean, from beginning to, I was actually going to the Bradford trip, and I had to find somebody else to go in my place because they're doing restaurant week tastings in the Brac. I wish I was going, but I've got somebody else going. There's the parliamentary luncheon tomorrow. Then I've got a big event in the evenings with Car City. I'm going to tell you guys all about that because I'm actually low key, but not low key, really excited about something that Car City has going on. So I want to talk to you guys about that because that is Car City about to do something really, really special. And I'm very, very excited. So we're going to talk about Car City. And then, so I've got those two events tomorrow. That's going to take me straight through to the evening. And I feel like there's something else I'm supposed to do tomorrow. But tomorrow, needless to say, is going to be a relatively busy day. Shaka says AI has difficulty recognizing cursive handwriting. Really? I'm not surprised. Barbara says my husband has artist handwriting. Does that mean it's flowy, like very nice? All right, tomorrow, immigration, transition amendment, and validation bill, ready to go. All right, got my notes. I'm going to ask a few questions. I need to reach out to Mr. Jeremy. I need some updated stats. Hopefully I can get those today before tomorrow's show. In the meantime, have a beautiful day. Keeping an eye on Melissa. Enjoy this video from Carla because this is what she's got coming for us.
People ask me why. Truth is, it is never too late. Strength isn't just in muscles. It is in your courage, in confidence, in believing you're worth it. Every stretch, every step, every smile reminds me that beauty doesn't expire. I'm just getting started.